lost weight only to gain it right back after returning to your routine? Did your diet work for someone else but not you? Rockin' That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery, located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues! Welcome to Season 10, Episode 13, lucky episode number 13, of Let's Go Blues Radio, where the often imitated, never duplicated, 10-time defending podcast champion, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Special thanks to RockinThatIDLife.com and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. It's Wednesday, December 8th, and we are in the, the in-between a rough stretch and a slightly easier stretch for the Blues. Broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. This is franchise episode number 331 all time. To interact with the show, we are on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Just do a search for us. You will find us. I'm Kurt Price, and my co-hosts for the big show are Jeff Ponder and Bill Day. And tonight we're talking St. Louis Blues hockey, as we always do. Guys, how have we been the past week? Good?
Okay.
I mean, Blues are playing good. I mean, they're getting points.
Yeah,
I'm struggling personally with some things.
Yeah, with your gender identity.
Well, yeah, that's not funny to make fun of anymore.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm serious.
Jesus Christ, I'm sensitive. Okay.
Why would I not? I'm not making fun at all. I'm trying to be a good. I'm being a good friend. I'm trying to help you. Be open up about it on the air in front of all these people.
No, for those that have listened for the past, 3 months, I've bitched about an ankle issue. God, dude, I don't get ankles. I just don't get it. Like, you get an injury and they just do not heal. They just refuse. And I guess it's because you have to constantly use them, right? Like, there's no way to not use your ankle unless you literally just lay in bed all day. And I mean, I was originally going to tell you guys I couldn't play or I couldn't do the show tonight because I had a hockey game.
I was going to say because your ankles?
Yes, my ankle hurts so bad that I can't do the podcast.
Wow, that must be really bad.
Yeah. No, so, it was last week as I've had this issue, but last week, for whatever reason, I got off the rink and I couldn't walk, and I still can't walk on it. So it's annoying, man. It's such an annoying, nagging injury. It's one of those that just won't go away. And you guys know how it is medically. Like, you try to get in to see the doctor, so you have to go see your physician first, and all they say is, "Oh, looks fine to me. Let me refer you." When it was like, couldn't you have just referred me because you knew that you weren't going to see anything by touching it? So now I got to wait to go see a specialist, and it's obnoxious.
See, last time I went to the doctor, I was told no more monkey business jumping on the bed.
Was your doctor Home Furnishings in Collinsville?
No monkey business. Yeah.
Oh, I do remember that. Okay.
Yeah, they're not in business anymore. Or maybe they are, but they moved if they're still in business.
It's like all furniture places. They went out of business, but they're still there under a different name.
Okay. All right. Way to get sales. Going out of business, just change names, then I get it.
Jack up the prices.
What was that?
75%.
Wasn't that, did you guys ever see You Don't Mess with the Zohan?
Yes.
It's actually,
I haven't seen
love
it.
that movie, personally. I think it's great.
You love that movie?
It's an underrated Adam Sandler movie.
What do you think Rotten Tomatoes has?
Oh, I'm sure it's terrible. But
over or under 25%.
It was his last good movie.
Under 20.
It was great. I loved it. But one of the stores in there is called Going Out of Business, and it's a big yellow sign. So that way it's like people just keep rushing in because they think the store is going out of business.
Oh, it is over 25%. Tomato meter is 37%, and the audience 45%. So higher than I thought.
There you go. I'm telling you.
Still not good.
It's not bad.
It gets the splat still. It's not, but better than I thought.
Mariah Carey makes an appearance, for Christ's sake.
Oh, well. Yeah, we love her.
Michael Buffer makes an appearance.
Are you ready to rumble?
Did you see his latest commercial, Michael Buffer? He's on. Is it with Shaq? I think him and Shaq are in a commercial. They're eating like a holiday meal around a big table, and he's like doing his voice about the mashed potatoes. He goes, "And now mashed potato," and he does his voice with everything he uses that voice all the time. Is what the commercial's about. So, and Shaq's getting annoyed. So it was kind of funny.
I have not seen that.
It was funny.
Neither have I.
Shaq seems like a likable guy, personality wise, and when he is a normal guy. But damn, if he doesn't put his name on everything, he doesn't say no to an endorsement. He's everywhere.
Hey, I don't blame him.
I mean, whatever. What floats your boat? I guess I do it too. You want to give me money to say I like your product? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Because they pay me every time I say it, dumbass.
Ow, my balls.
If you're so smart, why didn't you know that?
The official beers of episode number 331. You can follow us, each of us, on the Untapped app. My handle is cprice12. Jeff's is jponder94, and Bill is Billy Blue Note 33. Bill, Jeff, what you got? We're gonna roll with. I mean, you were hanging on for a while, going first, because you're going first is, the Blues playing well. As long as they're playing well, you're gonna go first. So I think that they're still playing well.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
we'll take it. Yep. So we'll stick with it. Yep. So I'm going with one of my favorites, the O'Fallon Pumpkin, which I was able to find at the Deerbergs out here in South County. So I was pretty happy. I actually stocked up. So I should be good for at least the next month or so. But yeah, just again, smoothest pumpkin beer I've ever had.
I like how you said you found it at the Deerbergs. And not
the
just
Deerbergs.
Not just at Deerbergs.
I meant to say the South County Deerbergs is what I meant to say. But of course it came out like an old man. I went to the Deerbergs.
Oh, old lady. I went to the Deerbergs. Yeah. It's funny what folks will call places. And you put the in front of something makes it that much more funnier.
My favorite is...
Oh, go ahead. My mom called, Played Against Sports. You're familiar? The resale sports shop. My mom... to this day, I think, still calls it Played Against Sam's.
Yeah. My dad called it that till the day he died. Yeah. It was like, that's never been its name.
No,
right?
But it's a the line from the movie, so.
Yeah. My mom with Ameristar, if she's listening, I used to give her trouble because she used to hit up Ameristar in her younger days a lot more. And she'll really hate me for saying that. But she's called the Ameristar.
The Ameristar.
You'd be like, where are you going, Mom? Oh, I'm going to the Ameristar.
That's funny.
No, you're going to Ameristar. You're not going to the Ameristar.
I like putting the in front of things. Don't correct people. It's entertaining. Right. You ever gambled at the Ameristar?
Yes, I have.
I have too.
I have spent, I'd say in my 20s, that's probably the place I spent the most time at. I was there pretty much every weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So not only for gambling, but because my mom used to get free hotel rooms. So my buddies and I would just go somewhere and then we'd cab it back to Ameristar, party there for a little bit. And
so your mom was like a VIP at the Ameristar.
Oh yeah. My mom and dad both.
And my grandma was a VIP at Lumiere and at Casino Queen too. So yeah, I mean that essentially means that they spend a lot of money there. So
yes,
they give them perks to keep coming back and give them free things. She had a bunch of free stuff, like boxes of stuff in like the spare bedroom. I go over there and she'd be like, here, take this pot or take this coffee maker.
Same thing. Yep. My mom would always, she'd call me and be like, hey, I got this, this cooler. Do you need a cooler? No, Mom, I'm good. Well, I'm going to give it to you anyway because I don't need it. And Ameristar gave it to me for free. I'm like, okay.
we never got free swag, but I had an uncle who is a big fan of gambling, and when he would come to town, he would go to Lumiere, and they would send him comp dollars, put in. You just put that straight into the machine, and he would occasionally send it to me. I'd go over there, put it in the video poker, cash out, leave. And then it just got, a little too dicey to to risk it over $45 or whatever it was. But
You know, the very first time I went to Ameristar was my brother and I, my brother Keith and I, we went there and to play poker. It was in our Hold'em poker heyday, the league that Bill and my brother and a few other guys played in. It was a lot of fun. But we were heavy into it, and so he and I went there, and we bought in a $100 table buy-in. So we put the $100 down, and the thing is that you get, I mean, when you play in a league, the buy-in's like $10, and you get $1,000 in chips, and you play. But you know, it's this real world stuff. You buy in for $100, you get $100 in chips, and that's you're playing with your money. You bet $5, that's $5 of your money. So it was a little, I mean, that was the very first time I'd done that. So it was a little nerve wracking, you know, to spend $50 on a hand or whatever. It's like, oh my God, that's like $50 of my money. But I did okay. I lost it all. But my brother, he told me after, because we were playing at the same table, and he lost earlier than me, and he was waiting for me to finish. And when I did, I talked to him, and he goes, yeah, early on I had a full house and I folded it. And I was like, what did you do that for? And he goes, I got scared off by some guy who raised me. I'm like, because it's my money. I'm like, yeah, I know. Right? It's a lot different. You have far less confidence in your hand when you're playing with actual dollar for dollar money. It's just different. So I don't think we're high dollar gambling people. Can't handle
I'm
it.
definitely not.
no, definitely not.
No, I'm a
get too
$10,
mad.
$20 buy-in for a tournament. Give me 1,000 chips. Love that all day long.
Yep.
That's fun.
I get mad when it's my money, even with like slot machines, and I'm like playing the penny slots. I get mad when I get down to zero. I'm like, damn it! I just lost a whole $3.
You ever see those YouTube videos where the guys play the gambling arcade machines, the Silver Falls, the quarters games, that push down you win quarters that dump off the edge, or there's the game where you put in some money and you have to line up a key that goes through a slot. You have to put it through perfectly, and you win that item. They're scams, you know. They're meant to win it after so many plays. But a guy had like $500, and he played this game $500 worth and lost it all on this key game. And he's there's a bunch of stuff like that on YouTube. Some of it's entertaining, some of it's like, what are you doing? You could have bought the damn item for $75. He was trying to win shoes.
Convinced it's skill.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, I guess, in the moment.
Bill, I think we were on beers of the episode.
Yes.
Wait,
yeah.
we're not still in the green room?
No, this is we're live now. We're live now. Yeah.
We've
That was
got to
great.
get better about this.
Put your shirt back
That's
on.
That's a great joke for the three of us.
Yes.
And nobody else.
Yep. So my beer, let me see if I can get this. I never get this exactly right. There we go.
Is that the Battlehawks logo?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
does.
No,
It does.
it is Electric Reindeer
I love that
from
name.
Sun King Brewing out
Sun
of
King.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
I've been there.
That tastes like, or that sounds like sunking. I'd want to try.
I've had Sun King makes a orange vanilla cream ale that I had on Black Friday after I had my flight to Bourbon County.
Yeah.
And they do sell it at Pete's.
You flew to Bourbon County?
Do they really?
They do sell it there, yeah. And it's a 6-pack. It's I mean, you know, and Pete's has a great selection of beer. Have you been there, Bill? The Pete's?
Yeah, I have.
They have a good beer selection.
Yeah, it's that's about that. Yeah, I've been going there like pretty much since when they open. I'll go every couple of weeks. I'm still waiting for the they have the whole cabinet section along the one wall that says premium liquor coming soon, and I keep going in there to see what kind of whiskeys they're gonna get, and disappointed every time. So
they've always had
empty.
The owners of that owned the 4-0 Quick Stop in Troy, and they always had good beer there. So I appreciate the effort to bring in good beer. That's nice variety. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's where we got the maple Mackinac fudge from KBS.
Yes. Yeah. That was good.
Or from Founders to KBS.
Yes. Yeah. That was delicious.
Or wait. I need to stay on theme. The Founders.
The Founders. My beer of the show is from the Schlafly.
Very
the
nice.
Schlafly's export stout, which is a leftover from
Mm.
last year.
It's
It was the stout bout.
Irish stout, right?
It's the let me read it here. Oh, is this one of those damn beers that don't tell you a damn thing about the beer? It is. It's just export stout. Yes, I think it's Irish. All it says is 6%. The St. Louis Brewery export stout. That's it. You know what? Put the damn description on the label. People, come on, Schlafly. It's good. I mean, it's I don't know why I had 2 left over from last year. It's pretty good. I just have not drank it.
We should go ahead and get to this one comment here. First of all, Matt Harris says, "Hello, fellas." Hello, Matthew. He says, currently working on a seriously black lager from Native Dog Brewing. I've never heard of that.
He spelled
Let us know
seriously.
how it is.
He spelled seriously like the streaming radio station.
Yes, he did. And is that not how? And here we go, guys. Here's a nerdy comment because my wife's been making me rewatch these movies. Is that not how Sirius Black from Harry Potter spells his name as well?
I have only seen the first Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And it was when it first came out. So that's been a long time.
I fell asleep in the first Harry Potter, and
I liked
haven't-
Harry Potter. I liked it when I saw it. I just never got back to the second or the third or the fourth or whatever. And I actually have them all here. I just have not watched them. One of these days.
Yeah.
it took me it
that's-
wasn't until quarantine. My wife loves Harry Potter, and like we were dating when the last few movies were coming out, and I refused. I'm like, no, I'm not a fan. I tried reading the first book, hated it.
The movie's much better.
Quarantine, I finally gave in, and I said, okay, I'll watch the movies with you. They were okay, but we started rewatching them again the last couple weeks, and I've enjoyed them a little more the second time around.
Matt Harris says, I believe the name's reference to Harry Potter. Native Dog is a brewery down here, down near me in South Arkansas. Arkansas.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Yeah.
Arkansas
actually-
AK. Arkansas AK.
Well, there you go. So it is a reference to Harry
No.
Potter.
No, AK's Alaska.
You're right. AK is Alaska. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking it.
Yeah. No,
Have you seen? Oh, sorry.
you know-
Sorry. Have you seen the comedian who does the abbreviations for the states about the committee that picks the when they went to 2 letters? Because
No.
states used to be like 2 or 3 letters. Went to a standard 2 letters. There's a comedian does a stand-up bit about the conversation the committee had picking all the state abbreviations. It's really funny. Anyway, check it out. Sorry, Bill. Go ahead.
No problem. I think my train of thought is now gone. No, I was going to say
Arkansas, Arizona.
No,
Alaska?
it was the Harry Potter thing.
Okay.
Jeff talked about going through watching them in the pandemic. I tried to go back and listen to the audiobook of the first one. I think it was available through Audible, and yeah, I got about, I don't know, not even to the point where he gets taken away to, or he goes to school, and
First,
that was
they tried to get us to read it in 8th grade, and so many of us
Wow.
complained because it was so boring.
Because you're
And
anti-book.
we literally got
Right.
to that point where he gets taken, and
Yeah.
This was-
taken in a good way.
This was Missouri.
And
Right.
we
Didn't
Yeah.
Missouri think it was like the witch's book or something?
here we go. Missouri
at some
cracks.
point.
They wanted to ban Harry
Um,
Potter.
This
It
was
was-
probably before that.
Those
when I
conservatives
was in
just
8th
so
grade.
full of cancel culture. Cancel books. Go ahead. Sorry.
Matt Harris says, just texted the owner of the brewery, can confirm he's a Harry Potter nerd.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
Nice.
But yeah, so
Very nice.
no, it was the same thing, Bill. So many of us in the class complained it was so boring that they
Mhm.
actually said, "Fine, you guys are complaining." My teacher was like, "We'll read something else." And so yeah,
Right.
that's as far as I got because I was so damn bored that I was like, I don't know how they're gonna make a movie out of this.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing with sorry, the dogs are in a mood tonight.
Bill just let out a really squeaky fart.
Pet the dog. I think the dog wants to be. Said, "Oh, pet me, please." That's what it sounds like.
Come on, buddies.
It's whining. You can't just ignore a whiny dog,
I've learned to with these two,
especially that
but
guy. That's
no, that was my experience with Game of Thrones. Like I'm like I'm gonna read the books before I watch it. I read the first book or did the audio book of the first book, and it took me like 3.5 months. I'm like, oh fuck it, I watch it the whole. I'm just gonna watch it from here on out. And yeah, literally, I remember watching the first episode, and I'm like, this was like 4 hours in when they get to the end of it. Like, this, yeah, definitely for those kinds of epic things, go with the book or go with the movie, the TV show, not the book.
Okay. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm
if
like,
you're lazy like me.
Oh, I'm extremely. I don't read books. Unless
Kurt?
they're hockey news or something. What?
Have we even gotten to your beer yet?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
It's from
Did
the
we?
Schlafly.
Okay, that's how we got. That's how we got
the
into
export
this.
stout.
Okay. Yep. I was seriously like, I don't remember if we got to Kurt's.
Oh yeah. No, we'll in the podcast, the background music was long over for this segment.
Okay, good to know.
It ended about a couple minutes ago. Okay, moving along. Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, we got December 8th, 1997. Mike Keenan made his first return back to St. Louis as head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. Signs were handed out and sponsored by 105.7 The Point. The Blues whooped Keenan and the Canucks 5-1. Scott Pellerin had his first multi-goal game and was named player of the game. This was a big deal when Keenan came back. Huge deal. Remember Keenan, his sarcastic wave to the crowd when the Blues fans were booing the shit out of him?
Yep. I was
such a
at
big
this
deal.
game.
Were you?
I do. I remember sitting with my dad at this game, and because I remember late in the second period, there was a face-off in the Blues end, and there was about 9 seconds left on the clock, and Keenan pulled his goalie because it was a face-off, and I guess he thought there's no way the Blues get it down there in 9 seconds, which is ridiculous.
Right.
And I remember I looked over to my dad, and this was like in the height of me like really starting to play hockey a lot. So I'm looking at him pulling the goalie, and I'm like, what the hell? I go, Dad, do you see this? He just pulled the goalie. It's like, what the hell is he doing? And the guy next to me just goes, that's why I don't miss that motherfucker. and I'm like, that's a good point. And the Blues almost scored. They got it to the red line, and they just missed shooting it in the empty net.
You know, it's interesting because there was a time when it was thought that 4 seconds or less, it was almost impossible to win the faceoff back, shoot it down the ice, and score. So anytime you had a faceoff in the offensive zone with 4 seconds left or less on the clock, a coach would pull the goalie and have an extra attacker for 4 seconds. I remember Quenneville doing this, and it was like 4.1 seconds left or something. And the other team won the face-off, took a slap shot down the ice, and it smacked against the back end boards and would have counted. And Quenneville never did it again.
that was in overtime against the Sharks.
Was
in
it?
the playoffs? I remember that.
That was a playoff game?
Because again, that was a playoff game. I remember that because I remember them doing it. And again, I was at the game.
I think you're right.
And I looked at the guy next to me and I said, oh my God, he's pulling the goalie with 4.1. And the guy goes, there's no way.
That's why I don't miss that fucker.
And yeah, he he passed it.
Same guy.
They won the face-off. The guy like one-timed it. And I mean, it was damn close.
Yeah,
and
it was.
I remember just thinking,
counted.
can you imagine losing a game that way?
It would have counted. Oh, I know.
Ooh.
I remember like shitting my pants when they got down. They won it clean, and the shot was quick. I'm like, oh shit.
Yep.
I never saw him do it again. I actually, to this day, when there's like 2 seconds left at the end of a period, like in the first period, coaches don't do it, and I'm like, do it. 2 seconds. You can't score in 2 seconds. You can't. Then why not? Do it anyway. There is a line. There is a line where it's impossible to score. So take that, find out that line, and then do it.
I'm gonna draw something out again from this game, December 8th, 1997. This is gonna sound crazy, but I think I'm gonna look it up and make sure I'm right. Chris Kennedy, number 12 for the St. Louis Blues. I believe he scored his first NHL goal and only NHL goal that night.
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Hockey reference.
Wrong. Yes, sir.
That's the 97-98 season, for just so you don't go to the wrong season.
Yes, sir.
Not the 96-97. December 8th, 1968, Noel Picard got the first Gordie Howe hat trick in Blues history. The Blues extended their unbeaten streak to 12 games in a 4-4 tie versus Philadelphia. And Gus Hill, who was the Blues color radio broadcaster, he said to Flyers GM Bud Poyle, who was hanging out, pacing back and forth behind the Blues broadcast booth, making comments because he was upset about a trade that was made, and the Blues screwed. He felt the Blues screwed Philadelphia. Might have been a three-way trade. I don't know. But Gus Kyle got tired of it, and while they were on the air, gets up, runs back to Bud Poyle and says, "If you don't stay away from here, I promise you, I'll punch your head into next year." And Gus Kyle was very apologetic to the reporters afterwards when they asked him about it, or when it was brought up, because he was hopeful it did not get out on the air because the mics were on and they were live, and he goes, it wasn't that far from the mic where it happened. So he felt bad about it, but I don't know if it got on the air. Gordie Howe. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, with what I said earlier, I was close. Chris Kennedy got his first NHL point.
Okay.
He got an assist. And again, I don't know why I
close.
even remember Chris Kennedy, but for some reason I remember him. I thought it was scoring in this game. But
Yeah, that's
he assisted on Pascal Rayom's first period goal.
I mean, you're very close. Very close. Almost right on. Speaking of Gordie Howe hat tricks, for those who don't know, it's a goal, an assist, and a penalty in the same game. And Gordie Howe in his career only had how many guys? Gordie Howe hat tricks? How many?
One.
He had two.
And you were incorrect. It is a goal and assist and a fight.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not
yes,
just a penalty.
I didn't say. I said penalty. I meant fight. You're right.
Yeah.
Also, who has the most Gordie Howe hat tricks in NHL history?
Brendan Shanahan.
Very close, but no.
I knew this. I knew
Pat
this
Verbeek.
before.
Not even in the top 10 or top 8.
Dave Andrechuk.
Nope, not top 8.
No, he wasn't a fighter.
Keith Tkachuk.
Keith Tkachuk is 7th. He has 10. Shanahan has 17.
Oh, Keith Primo.
Nope, not top 8.
Damn.
Good guesses, though.
All right. Gary Roberts.
Nope. Any guesses, Bill?
I'm done.
Bob Probert.
No. Good guess. Not top 8, anyway. Number 1 is Rick Tocchet with 18. One more than Shanahan. One more than Shanahan. And number 3, there are a lot of Blues on this list, actually. Number 3, Brian Sutter. Also tied with Shanahan, 17. So I guess tied for second is Sutter. Wilf Payment is 4th with 16. Cam Neely, 5th with 12. Bill was a Cam Neely lookalike back in his younger year. To some degree.
When I went to when I was going to school at Providence, playing on the intramural team, that was my nickname, was Cam.
There you go.
Because everybody there Bruins fans, and
okay,
I look like Neely.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then Jerome McGinley with 11, Keith Tkachuk with 10, and Gerard Gallant with 10. So we got Tkachuk, we got Sutter, we got Shanahan. 3 of the top 8 Gordie Howe hat tricks in Hill history were mostly Blues players. December 8th, 1979, Red Berenson, on his 40th birthday, was named head coach of the St. Louis Blues, replacing Barclay Plager. So happy 82nd birthday to Red Berenson.
Yes, happy birthday, Red. Mr. 6-goal man himself.
Yeah, the game was not televised, which is a bummer. Back in the day when they didn't televise mini games, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was a kid, they didn't televise a third of the games. It's nuts. You had a calendar.
Yeah, I mean,
the Blues calendar that you would get every year would have, the game, obviously the games on there, and then they would have on the bottom corner would be where you could watch it and listen to it. So every game was on KMOX, but 2/3 of them maybe were on TV. So, Channel 11.
Back in Bill's day, they actually had to go to the theater to watch Blues games.
You ever go to a theater to watch a sporting event?
No, but I've heard it's actually really awesome.
I did. I went there when the Cubs were in the World Series, and they played Game 7 at the Wildey in Edwardsville. And I'm like, you know what? I'll go there and check it out. I'll watch some of Game 7 in a movie theater. It'd be kind of cool, the old Wildey Theater. It was neat. Hung out there for a bit. There were only like 10 people in the whole place watching it. And then I came back and watched the rest of it. But that was pretty cool. It's neat. Theaters should do that more often. We will discuss the Blues' last 5 games or so and the points they've received against Tampa Bay, Florida, Columbus. And then we'll talk about the Blues' overtime victory versus Florida after these words from ID Life.
It's safe to say that the Burn Box from RockinThatIDLife.com provides you with the sugar bustinest, muscle buildingest, mood enhancingest, focus inducingest, energy boostingest, hootinest, tootinest, shootinest experience. You not only get the excellent product, but you get recipes, menu options, a tracker, and program guide to assist you along your self-betterment journey. Based on your goals, you can double up on Slim Plus or Energy, or you can get one of each. With flavors such as mixed berry, tropical fruit, and orange, the Burn Box lets you enjoy the weight loss or muscle gain journey along the way. Become a VIP with RockinThatIDLife.com and place your Burn Box on subscription and you'll save 20%. And as always, text
the roughest, toughest He-Man, stuffest hombre has ever crossed the Rio Grande.
And our friend Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive an additional 10% off your order.
Now all of you skunks, clear out of here.
And go over to RockinThatIDLife.com. So, coming out of break here, I wanted to mention our friend Dustin sent me over some news for a December promotion going on right now with ID Life. Santa-sized savings. And if you know Santa, you know he's a very large man.
I know him.
I know him. We just watched that the other night.
I love that movie.
Great movie. So basically you get, you save $360 at least, in a 6-month span. If you subscribe and save, if you subscribe for 6 months, but basically what you do is you get $20 off your retail Burn Box and $40 instant savings on ID Nutrition. This is for customers and VIPs only. So offer ends on December 31st. So again, that's $20 off your retail Burn Box and then $40 instant savings on ID Nutrition. I got a little flyer here that I will tweet out as well if you want more information, but definitely reach out to Mr. Dustin Paul if you have any more questions over at RockinThatIDLife.com, as well as texting him. And again, you save that 10% too by texting him. If you text him at 636, oh god damn it, what's the number? Help me out, Kurt.
Hold on, pull it up.
I thought I had it.
I
636.
It is
it's 8745.
636-393-8745.
636-393-8745. Text Dustin, tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And again, you sign up for that deal, you get some great savings there. As a new VIP or customer at RockinThatIDLife.com.
I feel like we're just doing like a swap shop thing there. Oh, I forgot the phone number. I look it up. You can go back and get the number for the person to call to get rid of your junk. You said that this deal is available to VIPs and customers. Wouldn't anybody that buys a product be a customer?
I think it's basically if you sign up and not just, you have to like sign up and say like, here's my name.
Gotcha.
I'm interested in email offers, that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Just want to clarify. We got some comments in the YouTube chat. Says Jeff being an English major, I would want him to only read James Joyce or D.H. Lawrence novels. For me, Robert E. Howard's is the best for fantasy.
I've actually never read Robert E. Howard. James Joyce is fantastic. Last week, I made a poem to the style of Lord Byron, who was one of my favorites. But if anyone's looking for a good American writer T.S. Eliot was always one of my favorites, and I always love the. I think they've mentioned it a couple times on SpongeBob SquarePants. For those of you parents listening, their famous writer is T.S. Halibut, which I always thought was funny. But yeah, no, James Joyce, great. D.H. Lawrence, I'm sure I've read something, but it's not coming to me. Robert E. Howard, I'm going to put that on the list. I'll give it a shot, Ken. Thanks for suggesting.
Noel Picard, Ken Morris said in the YouTube chat, Noel Picard is best remembered by Bruins fans for his trip of Bobby Orr after scoring the cup-winning goal against the Blues in the 1970s. Yeah, probably best remembered for Blues fans too, especially newer Blues fans who didn't get to watch Picard play. Their interaction with Noel Picard is mostly probably that play. You know, that's replayed over and over again. He says, Matt Harris said, anyone else been keeping up with Jake Neighbors highlights? Got him excited for this kid next year. I think you responded, right, Bill? Yeah. About, his walking the, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was, it got good play on at least on my Blues Twitter, the other night. Yeah. He picked the puck center ice and walked through, walked three guys and went roof. And yeah, definitely think that, if he would have stayed up and not contracted COVID or gotten injured, he would be probably top 6 right now for this team. But,
Yep, for sure.
Darren
Darren Grice.
The time, I think it was right to send him down.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Just with cap situation, it made sense.
Sure.
Yeah. Darren Grice, I like Logan Brown and Jake Neighbors. And Ken Morris says future of the Blues looks bright. Yeah, I
agree.
I hate to say this so early on because Logan Brown's played 3-4 games now for the Blues.
Yeah,
I'm thinking this is gonna be a steal. And I thought that at the time too. I think he is going to develop into a nice hockey player for the Blues.
I thought Logan Brown was almost a throw-in on the deal because we got the pick right for Sanford, and because I said I would have been extremely happy with the pick. What was it? It was a 3rd round pick, 4th round.
I think it was a 3rd round
pick,
and we were ecstatic about that.
Yeah, I was really happy we got a 3rd round pick for Sanford, and then we got a former 11th overall draft pick as well, a local kid. That's gravy. That's fine. Right. I'm happy to take him too. Yeah, great, awesome. That's a great.
I'm sorry, it's a 4th round pick.
Okay.
If Brown plays more than 30 regular season games, the conditional draft pick will be removed from the deal.
Okay.
So basically,
he might.
Yeah, so if he plays in 30 games, with the way the season's gone, he will. That pick becomes is gone, is null from the trade.
And if he plays more than 30 games, I think that means he's making an impact, and I'm fine with not having the 4th round pick.
Right. Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah, and somebody, I think it was Rutherford, may have mistakenly tweeted out last night that somebody big tweeted out that referred to Brown as an 11th round pick.
Oh,
no, 11th overall.
They don't even have.
I would say they don't even have 11 rounds.
Right, and
Ryan Elliott's one of the last 11th round picks.
Right. Who was the last guy on this team that was, above 15th overall? Schwartz was 13th, Tarasenko was 16th the year that they went. I mean, I guess Pietrangelo and, number 4. So that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And I thought it was a no-brainer inclusion in the trade. I mean, low risk, high reward. I mean, there's no downside to taking Logan Brown. He's not making a lot of money. It's a good deal. So
yeah,
Bill, I thought you were going to ask who's the last 11th round pick ever made in the NHL. That's what I thought you were going to, and so I started looking it up, and now I'm still looking it up.
So when was there an 11th round in the draft? That
it's been a while. Here we go. Well, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't 11. It was 9 rounds. It used to be 9.
Yeah.
Now it's 7. But the last pick, the last ever 9th round pick, number 291 overall, Philadelphia, John Carter of the Brewster Bulldogs.
That's
Guessing
funny.
he never made the NHL.
200 and what overall?
291.
291, and that
And-
was 9 rounds.
And looking at this, this is interesting, folks. I'm gonna have to do the math here. Actually, I'm gonna have to look at all the players here. But I believe the last 9th round pick to ever crack the NHL was Mr. Adam Cracknell. Looking at this list, I believe he's the only one that ever cracked the NHL.
I'm sure you could Google
That last draft.
the lowest numbered draft pick to ever make the NHL, which might be him.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That's
Good
a good
for
trivia
him.
question too. The lowest, the highest number, lowest number pick to ever make or play in an NHL game.
I'm checking the stats. Oh, I was wrong. Tristan Grant played in 11 NHL games. He was picked after Adam Cracknell, as well as Yannick Hansen. Okay, now it just
Former
doesn't even
Canuck, right?
Former boy band.
Yes. Former boy bander, yes.
Mbop. Okay. So there's more comments. I watched Ken Morris. I watched the 1970 Blues versus Bruins game live on Hockey Night in Canada. That's impressive. That's awesome. I mean, the end result was not awesome, but I assume Ken Morris was watching as a Blues fan at the time. Didn't switch allegiances.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Harris says, to be fair, I think this podcast has more cap space than the Blues right now, and all of you guys have hats on already.
There's your comment of the show. Congratulations.
Yeah, very nice.
Matt
For
Harris.
sure.
And there's a comment. Races fan rocks 4. Is that a new listener?
Big Eric Brewer fan.
No. He's
Okay.
always on.
Really?
Has-
Okay.
Yeah, he's the
Well,
one that I
hasn't
always
been
say is
on-
Big Eric Brewer fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just okay. Escaped me.
Biggest
about that
Eric
Zegras
Brewer
assist
fan
last
out
night?
there.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Zegras play in a little bit. But the Blues beat in the last 5 games, the Blues have played 7. They've gotten 7 out of 10 possible points, and they played Tampa Bay twice, Florida twice, and Columbus. So despite playing shorthanded and being without key guys, including our Stanley Cup winning goaltender, our best defenseman, and last season's leading goal scorer, among others, the Blues are chugging along and gutting out some wins and getting some points in overtime. They had a 6-3 win versus Columbus, a 4-3 shootout win versus Tampa Bay, a 4-2 loss versus Tampa Bay, a 4-3 win in the shootout versus a 4-3 shootout loss versus Florida, and then a 4-3 overtime win versus Florida. They failed to get a point in only one of those games. That's some stiff competition too.
Yeah, and I was going to say that, Kurt, I believe it was you that said last week that if you come out of these 4 Florida games in a row with a split, that's a win. Well, guess what? They actually did better than a split. Like, when they got to overtime last night, I was like, I even thought that. I go, Kurt was calling for a split to be a good 4 games, and they got it in overtime. So if they get a point here, that's cake. Because I agreed with you, and I still do. And the fact that they were able to, and again, with 17 players in the lineup, which we'll talk about in a minute, unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would have said
unbelievable.
I would have said with a fully healthy roster, a split against Florida and a split against Tampa Bay, that's fine. You know, that's fair, even with a fully healthy team. And they did this with a crazy amount of players out and playing shorthanded. So I mean, it's just
right, and losing
random
2 players during the game.
Yeah, right, late in the game.
And
right.
let's add too, like you say, players out. Justin Falk was a scratch after warmups.
Yeah.
In that game.
Yeah.
Like the test didn't come back until right before the game started. So not only was it, oh hey, Justin, you can't play. Sorry guys, we're down a guy. Jake, you're coming in even though you didn't warm up. I mean that's crazy. Like, and they were able to. Now again, they ended up losing that game, but impressive that they're able to boast that they got that amount of points in those 4 games.
And it's interesting too because in some of these games they didn't play particularly well for stretches, but they got good goaltending from Husso.
Yes, they did.
In some of these games, really good goaltending.
Well, and
kept them in it.
The Tampa game, the first Tampa game with Bennington. I mean, we talked about it last week, but the crazy bounce, like, this is this is bad. They're going to get their asses kicked tonight. They end up winning that game. I
Yeah.
mean, they had no business winning that game.
No. So I mean, and that's where good goaltending comes in. I mean, you on it's tough for a team to never let their foot off the gas or to play a full 60 minutes, right? So it's both terms I completely hate. But when the
Really?
ebbs and
You've never
flows
said that before.
when the ebbs and flows of a hockey game are tilting against you, like they always, it happens because the other team you're playing is a professional hockey team, and they're going to push back, and they're going to have, their momentum swings and stuff like that. They're going to have chances. It's great to have a goalie that is playing really well and to hold the fort, and that's what the Blues got at times when they weren't playing very well, inconsistent. Because I think anybody who's paid attention to this team will tell you that they've been inconsistent this season ever since the 6th game of the season. Start off 5-0, and then they've been wildly inconsistent since. So to get good goaltending to get you through those lulls is a big deal, especially with your backup. My God.
He's really stepped up. We talked last week, 2 weeks ago. Is that stigma with the first shot going in? Is that still hanging around? And we all agreed it didn't.
No.
And it's not only that now. Now it's okay. He's still a backup goalie. You can't trust him like the starter. That may not even be the case anymore. Not saying there's any kind of goalie controversy here.
No.
Saying he's a reliable guy. You can expect a great start from him anytime he's in the net now.
You'll see smatterings. I've started to see smatterings of Husso should be the starter now. So, and I'm like, come on, what is going on?
That's not.
Let's just enjoy having
a
reliable backup for just a little while, right?
And if Husso can be that reliable backup, I mean, he's done it over the short term. It's been 6 games this season, and the last few games last season, so it's like 9 games or so. And that's pretty small sample size but he's been really, really good. And he's not just getting the results, he looks good. He looks like he's tracking the puck well. He's moving side to side well. He's challenging shooters. He's not getting lucky. He's playing very well.
And he's not giving up on plays at all.
No. I think he's better side to side than Bennington. I think from post to post,
he might be.
He's a splits goalie, like Jonathan Quick. He'll dish out the splits. He does that kind of thing, which Bennington doesn't. Bennington's more of a fall on his belly guy.
The real question, though, Kurt and Bill, I think, is how well does he mimic other goalies in the NHL? Because that's all that's going to matter as a backup goalie, right?
In the playoffs. That'll endure you to fans forever if you mimic the opposing goalie. Yeah, that's your redeeming quality.
Right. That's Somebody's got to be the batting stance guy, right?
Right.
That's No, you bring up the point about him being better post to post than Bennington. I'll tell you who is definitely better post to post than last night, and that was Spencer Knight. And that
he's phenomenal.
He's great, but that overtime goal by Buchnevich, that was awful. He way overplayed him.
Yeah, that's what I was we'll talk about that. But I guess he thought for sure he's going near post, right? And he did not. And he was dead in the water.
He also thought, was it Uyghur that was on him?
No, it was
I think
Ekblad.
he also.
Well,
Ekblad. I think he also thought Ekblad's not going to let him wrap around the net like that.
They also switched.
He's not going to chase him behind the net. He's going to cut him off on the other side.
Was it Ekblad that had Buchnevich come into the zone and they switched? Who was it that followed him behind the net? Was it Ekblad?
It was Ekblad that went behind the net.
Okay, because they switched off. It wasn't Ekblad the whole way. They switched off coverage. Anyway.
For those of you young defenders listening, that is not how you play that. You let him go behind the net, and you break off if he has a chance to do the wraparound. Put your stick there. Don't let him do it. That's how you play that 3-on-3. Sheldon agrees.
Yes, he does. He is very, very much a goaltending critic extraordinaire.
Yeah, he's a Spencer Knight fan, and he just can't believe the way he played that. Notice how I didn't talk, and I let that groan kind of go. That was, that's
Gotta let it go.
that's experience in broadcasting right there. Excellence
Yeah.
in broadcasting.
Right,
The-
the excellence,
The EIB network.
excellence in broadcasting.
Excellence in broadcasting. So the Blues did beat Florida 4-3 in overtime in St. Louis last night. Husso got the start again, and we talked about how good he's been, not only since being the one on Code of Protocol, but all season and the last few starts last season. Unfortunately,
It just and real quick, just the game that they went to the shootout. My God, they had no. Listen. I'm not gonna. They're shorthanded. I get it. Not saying this game, but the game before, not missing a lot of the star guys. But man, I did not like the way they played in that first game against Florida. I didn't think they looked very good defensively. They were awful. Florida was just picking their chances. Like, well, let's see. Do we want to move it to the slot or do we want to shoot from the circle? They had all the options in the world, and Husso was just left and right stoning them. So it was. Can he do that again if he needs to against Florida? And especially early in this game, it looked like he was going to need to.
Yeah. I mean, I was curious to see how it was going to go with Florida being as good as they are and with the Blues missing so many players and playing short again. I thought this game is going to get ugly, or could get ugly. And it really should have been. It should have been.
When they were at like 14-2 on shots, I even was like, I even said out loud, and I think I even tweeted it, that this game's going to get ugly. Like this is going to be a blowout in the favor of Florida. Like doesn't matter what Husso does.
We're getting schooled. I mean, it was puck possession and chances, and the Blues weren't getting anything going. 5 shots on net in the first period.
Their neutral zone play was awful. Right. Okay, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say the Blues neutral zone play was awful. Florida was just reading everything, and it was the Blues
causing
had
all
no
those turnovers.
Chance. Yeah, they turned the puck over every chance they had. They could not break into the zone. If they did, it was just a little squibble shot into the corner that was instantly brought back out by Florida. There was just no pressure chances at all by the Blues in that first period.
Yeah, a friend of mine who's a season ticket holder said he was about ready to leave after the first last night. He was so disgusted with the Blues play.
It was bad. Well, I was almost watching and kind of half laughing because I'm like, you almost, I mean, in my opinion, you almost can't get upset that with the way the play was going in the first period because of how decimated the Blues were and playing shorthanded. And I want to keep throwing in and with their backup goalie in net, but Husso's playing like a number one. So right. I mean that's actually not a detriment to this team right now. Husso playing is actually it's good. But being outshot 20-5 in the first period after it was over was just insane. And to be only down 1-0 because Barkov scored on a real nice setup. This is a good play. Backdoor this pass was just behind Prunovich. And it was about 7 minutes into the period. And I initially was kind of hard on Prunovich on this play on Twitter. But going back and looking at the replay a few times, I'm like, you know what? When the actual pass was made, I thought Prunovich was in really good position. But it was just a really well-placed pass. And Barkov just kind of reaches out from behind. I mean, it's tough. I mean, that's probably a really tough play for Prunovich to make. And after looking at the replay, I don't blame him as much. I thought, he's got to be aware of where Barkov is, which he still should have. But I don't think he is as, it wasn't as bad of a play as I initially thought.
I'm still going to be a little hard on him just because I do think his positioning was off. When Barkov's on the ice, you have to know where he is and you have to be ready. Having said that, I'm going to pull the opposite of what we hear from some broadcasters. He is a rookie. This is his 9th NHL game, something like that. He's out there against world-class NHL players. I will give him a slight pass, but I will say that that's going to be a learning moment for him. Hey, this kind of play happens again. Make sure you know where that superstar is.
Right. And Barkov didn't play in the game on Saturday, right? And
Right.
that was a little foreboding for me, seeing him in the lineup. And that guy's huge.
And he
Like,
scores right away.
Yeah.
and he scores right away.
Yeah.
For Perunovic, could he have played it better? Yes, but he had the inside lane, right? He had the inside lane. His stick, he was facing the goalie, so maybe if he's turned the other way, but I'll give him a pass there. I think he'll learn. He's smart enough to learn, and he'll be better the next time that kind of play develops. So
yeah, I think, and I think when the actual pass is made, he was actually at his back to the goalie, and then he kind of spins.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, when the actual pass is made, you can't see Barkov. Barkov's behind
Right.
Perunovic, and but it was just a perfectly placed pass, and Barkov kind of reaches out and receives the pass, and it was just, Perunovic kind of kicks his back skate out to kind of get deflect it, but he misses it. It was a good, it was a nice play, real nice play. So second period was a different story.
I was going to say, we got a comment here I wanted to mention in the chat. Matt Harris, isn't it strange the Blues are playing better with being shorthanded and hurt/ill than a fully healthy roster? Is that just in thanks to attitude or what? Matt, I'll say it's partially attitude. If this were the case for the next 10 games, they're going to play with 17 players, you're not going to see that effort. I don't want to say effort, but you're not going to see the results because players will get tired. But yes, part of this is the adrenaline, the attitude of we are not going to win this game. Like, that's your mindset. There's no way we win this game. One of the best teams in the league. We're short one guy. We basically are running 3 forward lines. There's no way, but that's what you tell yourself in the locker room. And that's what pushes you to play harder. One of the best games I ever played in my life was a couple of years ago. We only had 8 guys for my ice hockey team. And I literally played the entire first and second period. I didn't get a break until the start of the third because I just let the other 2 defensemen you guys switch, I'll stay out. One of the best games I've ever played because I knew the pressure was on to play well. And sometimes you play on a different level when you have the odds stacked against you.
When you play in men's leagues and things, anybody who's played has played with their team shorthanded. You played with a guy or 2 short, and it's not NHL caliber play by any means, but it's comparable in a sense where you're playing against comparable talent to yourself, hopefully, right? So it's comparable in that regard, where NHL players are playing against players, comparable skill level to themselves to some degree. Playing short is playing a guy short. You deal with it. You adjust shift times. You do what you do. Some guys can take longer shifts. Some guys don't. And it is what it is. And like you said, Jeff, I've played a lot of games where guys and Bills played same team where guys just don't show up and you're short and you play. We played in the championship game one time. We played with no subs. And we won in overtime. So, it is what it is, and you just deal with it. And sometimes guys thrive on that kind of stuff. So,
yep.
But like you said, Jeff, not over the long haul. You don't want to do it every game.
No, if this was again, if this was tomorrow night they are playing with 17 again. Unfortunately, we'll get to that. But if that happens again on Saturday, again on Sunday, and then again, next Tuesday, you will see this team start to wear down. They can't do that consistently. But
unless
for
you
a
rotate
game
players
or 2
in
here and there,
you can't.
Yeah, which you can't. They can't. They literally can't. Like, they don't have the roster.
They'd have to switch out. They have to send guys down and waivers and shit. So
yeah, but certain guys, you'd have to put through waivers. You don't want to do that. So yeah, it's if this were a consistent thing, there's no way that happens. But yeah, same with me. I'll say the opposite of we played against a team recently on my roller hockey team that only had 4, and we lost. They beat us like 6-4 because they were so hard pressed at the end of the game to get the big last goal because we were tied 4-4, and they did. They scored, and then they got the empty netter, and it was just, we felt like assholes because we had 8, they had 4, but they just wanted it more than us. And that's just how hockey goes sometimes.
Matt Harris said that explanation makes sense. Never played hockey, but as a musician, I've had that odds against you situation for performances. Totally get it, and that's essentially what it is. You're like you I guess you rise to the challenge. Okay, more is expected of me this game, so I have to challenge accepted. Let's do it, and sometimes it works out. So
Yeah.
But the second period in this game was a different story than the first. Almost a complete reversal. Almost. The Blues played very well, turned it around on Florida, and all of a sudden, the Blues were the better team, and Florida was on their heels, outshooting Florida 15-8, and had the better period. 4 minutes into the second period, Tarasenko got his 8th of the season, and his first goal in quite a while. Was it like 9 games or something?
Something like that. It was 9 games.
After some intense and sustained pressure in the Florida zone, Barbashev finds Tarasenko coming off the bench, and he rips a wrist shot near post by Knight to tie it 1-1. After being outshot and outplayed and battling the first, and then 4 minutes into the second, it's a tie game. I kid you not, when this goal was scored, I celebrated kind of hard because they had a lot of pressure, a couple of close calls. I'm like, man, they could almost tie this game, and they did. And I celebrated, and then I started laughing.
I kind of turned my brain off going into the second period. Like, even though they were playing well, I was kind of somebody said it earlier that like it was just okay. I'm gonna half pay attention here, and I was half falling asleep when Tarasenko scored this goal, and then all of a sudden it was boom. I had this burst of energy. I jumped out of my chair. I was super excited. And that's what you want to see out of your sniper, right? Coming off the bench, going right to where he needs to go, driving the net, getting to the paint, and just blasting a shot. And hey, how about that? Vladimir Tarasenko's first non-third period goal of the season.
Yeah, how about that?
That was the craziest stat of the night for sure. I mean, how's I don't know. I mean, we're a third of the way through the season now, and he's only scored in the third period. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was weird. And then less than a minute later, though, Montour scored for Florida through a screen, high blocker on Husso. I'm not sure what Husso could have done here. Screenshots are rough.
Nothing.
It's high blocker. It's well placed.
Right.
So,
and just, I mean, the sequence, right? The initial shot's blocked and goes right to Montour, who's in a shooting position.
Right.
You're not going to be set for that ever. It hits you. You make the save.
Yeah. He tries to play big, and it's well placed shot. So,
yeah.
Yep. And I was back down, sunk in my seat, looking to possibly.
I know, right? You celebrate, and then all of a sudden you're down again. It's like, mother. So, but later in the second, the Blues finally got a power play, which, up until this point, I was irritated because the Panthers had received a few power plays, and the Blues had not received one. And there were a few calls that could have easily gone against Florida, and they just weren't called. So that's frustrating to me. And to fans in general, I'm sure, to everybody, that when you see penalties being called on your team, and then you see infractions that are not ticky-tack, there are a couple of substantial ones that weren't called. You're like, what the hell? What's got to happen? And it took a substantial high stick on Sundqvist to get a call. And then after that, we got some calls. Power plays for the game ended up being 5 aside each. And we got that gift call. Was it the slash on Shen? I think it was, or Bushnevich. The stick on the thigh, which wasn't a trip. It wasn't a trip. They just lost an edge, and they called it. So that was a gift, and we got scored on that play too. So I mean, if you complain about officiating early, you need to recognize that we got a gift call late.
That was on Bushnevich, right?
I think it was Bushnevich. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that could have easily gone for a dive. Personally,
I thought he lost. I thought he lost an edge. That's why I didn't think he tripped.
Maybe, but I looked at it as he watching the play in real time. I thought that could have easily been a dive, and I'm glad they didn't call it.
Yeah,
but that was something.
Yeah, it was the game Saturday against Florida that. Lomberg got called. They were two guys got called on the same play.
Yes.
It was Lomberg. Lomberg fucked her.
Lomberg fucked her.
He got called for the dive on the partial break.
I like what somebody said. Imagine that Lomberg's working on a Saturday.
It's pretty funny.
But yeah, late in the second, the Blues got a power play, and Braden Shen scored on the power play on a beautiful cross-ice pass twice. Once from Kyrou to Tarasenko, and then Tarasenko back to Shen for a backdoor tic-tac-toe play. And the game's tied back up at 2. Beautiful goal. Shen going down on one knee to make sure it goes in, right? Just lovely goal.
And I'll tell you, and both of you can vouch for this coming from the other side, but as a lefty, that pass coming back across, that is a hard play to make sure you not only just get a stick on it, but don't get your skate on it and direct it in, because that could easily been pulled away.
That's why you go down on a knee. You're extra careful.
Go down
right?
on your, and that's it. I made a lot of fun of Brad Winchester because he did that on every fucking shot, but some of those was because he was getting passes to the left side and he had to go down on one knee to make sure he's directed it in the right way.
Yeah.
Same with Brett Hall on the right side when he would do it. It's a great play to be able to pull that off. And in real time, again, with how quick hockey goes, I can't tell you how many 2-on-1s I've gotten a perfect pass on the left side because I'm a lefty. And I've just completely whiffed or it's missed my stick. And it's like in my head as it happens, I just would go, God, I wish this was on the other side because that's an easy tap in. Well, when it's on your on hand, it is hard to one-time the puck.
When the puck's coming across your body, receiving the pass, not a problem, right? Catching it,
right,
and then deciding to shoot. But if you're one-timing it or redirecting it, man, it's a timing play because you've got to. I mean, it's coming across your body, and you have to time it. And if it's got some mustard on it, I mean, you got to time it so when it gets to your blade, you're redirecting it in. So it's like. It's tough. I mean, it's not, and with guys on you and stuff, it's hard to do. And the puck's coming through traffic. It's difficult. And I think Shen did an excellent job.
And the vision by Tarasenko on that pass.
Great pass. 2 great passes. Kyrou to Tarasenko was fantastic. And then Tarasenko back to Shen. Just a great goal. And Saad gives the Blues the lead 7 minutes into the third period after some more really good pressure by the Blues on another power play. But this goal wasn't a power play goal on the score sheet because it was essentially the penalized Florida player came on the ice but hadn't gotten back into the play to disrupt the play. So the Blues were still taking advantage of the man advantage at that time. This was a great goal. A lot of stuff to talk about. From the corner, Logan Brown finds Barbashev in that soft spot between the O and the D, right? And then Barbashev just lets a little quick catch and release wrist shot kind of a thing go, and he puts it in. But the thing is that I know Jeff and I both commented on Twitter about when this goal goes in. They showed the first replay. You know, obviously real time you think Barbashev scores, but then you see the replay, and I'm like, I'm the kind of guy that's always looking for a stick that's touching the puck on the way in. I'm just to see if that's the who gets the goal, and I could tell. Oh, that ticked off Saad's blade and under Knight's glove, and so that's Saad's goal. And then the broadcast crew didn't catch it, and I know Jeff did. I did,
yeah.
And we talked about it, and we're like, and I'm sitting there, I'm murmuring at the TV. I'm like, it's not Saad's goal. They keep talking about it's not Saad's goal. They're going to change it.
It's not Barbashev's goal.
I'm sorry, not Barbashev's goal, right? And they announced it. I thought for sure when they announced the goal, they'll give it to Saad, and then the broadcast crew, I guess Saad touched it. And then, but no, they announced it as Barbashev's goal too. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, I will say now, guys, I don't know if you know that I used to be in the media, but
never mentioned it before.
Before they announce it over the loudspeaker, before Tom Calhoun makes the call, they actually have a speaker over, and it's one of the Blues crew that comes on and says, like, even before the puck's dropped, usually it's Blues goal scored by Brandon Saad, assisted by Ivan Barbashev. So basically they get like the same feed that Calhoun gets. So they announce it the minute they know. So that way the media can tweet it out or whatever. And so, but I will say in John Kelly and Jamie Rivers' defense, they probably can't hear that, especially Jamie Rivers. He's at ice level, but they probably can't hear that. They got the headsets on. They're also not calling from the box, so they probably don't get that feed.
I don't think Rivers. He wasn't at ice level, was he? I don't think they're allowed at ice level right now.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Was he?
It
Really?
was. Okay, it was between
Okay.
the benches.
They talked about it extensively at the beginning. How excited he was.
Okay, that shows how much
Yeah.
that shows how much I pay attention to pregame. Okay, go ahead.
But anyway, so
shows how much you love Jamie Rivers.
Yeah, well,
that's right.
You can
Frenemy of the show.
Right? Yeah. Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors. No, so yeah, it was the same thing, Kurt. I mean, literally, I saw the replay instantly. I'm like, oh, that's Brandon Saad. That's Saad's goal. And then I'm hearing, they keep saying, great shot by Barbashev. What a great goal by Barbashev. And I'm going, oh, I'm pretty sure it was Saad. And so then, and we, how many times have we, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that they do this, and I don't blame them one bit, the play so fast. They will wait for the announcement from Calhoun to say who got the assists. So, like, they'll announce, like, Tarasenko from Shannon O'Reilly. And then you'll hear John Kelly go, and the goal comes from Shannon O'Reilly. Like, they sometimes have to wait until they hear it from Calhoun himself. So when they announced Saad, Saad from Barbashev and whoever the other assist was, okay, he didn't catch it then because he said it again. Oh, it was a great goal by Barbashev. And then after he says that, he says it again. He says, Saad from Barbashev at such and so at the second period. Blues goal. And he still didn't catch it. They're going to commercial. And that's what I tweeted. I'm like, okay, clearly John Kelly just does not want to give this goal to Brandon Saad. No knock on him. It's a quick game. It's just funny.
Anyone still questioning the Saad signing right now? I know people are out there because there were some folks that didn't want Saad, didn't think he was worth the money, whatever. You know who you are. I saw comments. Leads the team in goals right now. Saad does.
Even more important, he is leading my NHL 22 team in goals as well.
Did you
have a great season for me? Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see that Brown on that play right after he passed, Barbashev got pasted by Gudis?
Yeah.
And oh man, watching Gudis play, I mean, always, he's a big, scary looking guy, right? With the beard, big guy, mean player, big defenseman. He just kind of just goes after Brown. And so Brown sees the goal on his butt in the corner. Wouldn't want to piss off Mr. Radko Gudis.
He can throw him too.
He seems like
before he can fight.
He seems like a guy that would be on the Thunder Bay Bombers in Youngblood.
Yes. His best friend is Phil McCracken.
He reminds me of Radke. For
oh yeah,
Bombers.
Yeah.
Radke was Radke?
I think that sounds
Racky. Sorry,
Racky.
Racky.
Yes,
I
said Radke.
Carl
that didn't sound
Racky.
Right. Yes, Carl Racky. Yeah. Reminds me of Racky, except a little bigger.
Yeah, no. Gudis used to, I used to think of him as a poor man's Roman Polak, but
wow.
He's
as soon as you said that, I see Ken Morris popped up in the YouTube chat. Says, reminds me of Roman Polak.
There you go.
Wow.
I didn't even see that. He's
perfect timing. He's a taller Roman Polak, but yeah, I see that.
Yeah. No one opened that door. No.
I was going to say about this goal. How about fucking Logan Brown working his way to the second power play unit? Good for him, man. I mean, I know there's injuries. I know there's COVID issues.
Yeah, you're producing. You're producing.
Good for him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care if you're up there because of injuries and guys out of the lineup. I don't care. If you're producing, good on you, man. You're making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking advantage of the opportunity. And to tell you the truth, I mean, a fully healthy team. Does Logan Brown play on this roster?
Right now, yes.
So
that's not out in my mind.
If we have no injury issues,
he's on over Neal.
Oh, I agree completely. Yeah, absolutely. But so he'd play in your games. In your mind, he's going to play more than 30 games this season.
Oh yeah,
I hope so.
We'll see. I mean, he could easily fall off a little bit, and then the Blues say, "Okay, let's go ahead and give him the rest of the season." I don't know if you guys saw what Doug Armstrong said today, but basically said he told Logan when he went down at the start of the season he expects to see him in the new year. So, things obviously happened to where he had to calm up a little sooner. Things could still happen where he gets sent back down and, the Blues are fully healthy and he's not producing like he was. I could still see it, but I think he's proven that next year he deserves a very strong look in training camp.
Well, he's a lot bigger than I thought he was.
Oh, he's a big man.
6'6". He's tall.
Yeah, he's tall and seems a little thicker than Sanford because Sanford was, not as tall. But comparing the guys in the deal, I would like to see him a little stronger on his skates and maybe bulk out a little bit, but he's still young. So there's still, he's still developing and, tons and tons of upside.
Ottawa won the trade.
Mm.
I'm trying to be a Buffalo fan here.
I hate it's too early to make any claim like this, and I'm mostly just what's the word I'm looking for? Over whatever. I'm saying too much here, but I would love if in 20 years we look back at this trade like how we look back at the Pavel Demitra trade with Ottawa. The fact that we fleeced them like that. I mean, I don't know if Logan Brown will ever be even a 50-point guy, but if he turns out to be just a mainstay Blue, they win this trade. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, I agree. If he can put up 15, 20 goals, shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Then Huberdeau ties the game late, about 5 minutes to go for Florida. And so it's like, God damn it, here we go again. Got a lead late, can't hold it. Almost identical of a goal to as Barkov's goal to make it 1-0. Same exact thing. Cross ice pass, back door, except this time it was, and we just got done talking with Logan Brown. This was Logan Brown's man. Huberdeau got away from him, and Brown Brown lost him for a second. They showed the replay, the back camera angle shows Brown kind of giving up on the play, giving up on Huberdeau a little bit, and that's where he got some separation, and that's he was free for the backdoor tap in. So probably not the best showing on that shift by Brown, but nice pass from Radko Gudas.
Yeah,
to Huberdeau.
Bill, to answer your question, I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, second time I've seen
bots?
it tonight. So
might see some bots here. I don't know.
I'm thinking.
What is VOH?
Yeah.
What is that?
VOH FYI is getting
I see it.
posted
What
in
is
our
that?
YouTube
What does that mean?
chat by female names. If you are actual people, please explain what that means.
VOH FYI. There's more than one.
Yeah, there's two at least.
I see one.
One from
Patricia.
Patricia and another one from Lorraine.
One's VOY, one's VOH. What does that mean?
No.
I have no idea. Anyway,
don't know.
Probably bots. But anyway,
yeah.
As far as Logan Brown goes in this play, and again, talking about Scott Prudovich earlier, I'll say the same thing about Brown. I think it's just one of those situations where it's a learning moment for him. But I will say, to give him even more credit, I loved his reaction to this goal. Did you guys notice that after he puts it in, Huberdeau puts the puck in? It was a instant. Logan Brown puts his head down, slams the stick on the ice, and it was a, God damn it, that was me. Like, that was my guy. I fucked up. And in his head, he's thinking that is going to be something that Berube is going to point to when they send me down. And, like, I like that. I want that kind of reaction from a player who's battling for a spot right now. So all for it. Loved his reaction. Again, learning moment. He's a young NHL player. Let's build on that next game. Let's see what you got.
So Husso gets hurt late in this game. Probably a knee. Looked like maybe a knee. Look like a knee, Bill, to you? Kind of flexing his knee?
Knee or groin.
Okay.
The way he was flexing afterwards kind of could be either. But the second that I saw that the Blues signed John Gillies, I knew that it wasn't wasn't something that is going to be something they'll bounce back from. So
It to me instantly it was groin. The way he reacted after that play where he tried to scramble back into the crease, and then how he just instantly was like, "Yep, come on, I'm going off." Now, yeah, that could easily mean knee too, but the way that he was flexing, the way he was doing it, just as someone who's been in a similar situation, I read that as a groin. So we'll see.
You know what I hate? That you really can't read articles on stltoday.com anymore without having to pay.
No,
that's
don't even try.
No, I'm like, no, I'll just get my information somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll pay the Athletic before I'm going to pay STL today.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to read Rutherford over Jim Thomas any day of the week. So.
Oh yeah, and the
friend of the show.
And that should be just by, and I've said this before, but the post-game press conference questions that get asked, Rutherford asks some fantastic questions. He does. But some of the other guys, the questions they ask, I hate how they phrase them. They say they'll phrase a question like this. So you think it's good for Tarasenko to get off the hump and get a goal in this game? What the hell is he gonna say? It's like such a leading question, and I know what you're gonna say, Jeff. Well, you have to get the kind of response you want to write your story, maybe.
And I was gonna explain it to the crowd because I know I've said that to you guys before. For those that don't know,
bananas.
I know for a fact exactly why those questions are phrased that way from guys who have to write the game recaps. They already have the recap written, and if it's not written, it's already in their head exactly what they're putting on paper.
You can tell.
And they've got a deadline, and which, by the way, you want to get away from those questions? Hey, listen up, STL Today and all you other newspaper sites in the world. Stop with the fucking deadlines. Then you'll get some actual real fucking content. And that's the problem these writers are facing, is that they have these deadlines they have to meet. And so they go into the post gamers and they ask the leading question because they want a certain response. So that way they could literally just, okay, he said this, boom, there's my quote. There's my quote again, boom, done, sending it in now.
It's so annoying.
It's unfortunate. It's because a lot of these guys, like the game will end at, let's say, 9:45 St. Louis time. A lot of them are deadlines like 10:15. And it's like, do you really expect them to write anything insightful if their fucking deadline is a half hour after the game ends?
Well, that's why you probably get better posting questions on the East Coast. Maybe they have like an extra hour.
Yep. And also why you get better questions from a Rutherford or a Strickland, who are guys that don't have deadlines and will actually ask the real questions because they'll have time to write something about what the player actually said.
And it's also some of these questions that the guys ask. It's like, if you've played hockey, and if you've, you especially if you played hockey, and you hear these questions, you're like, wow, this reporter doesn't quite understand the game as well as he probably should if he's writing about it.
Yep.
So that drives me bananas. It's like, oh, that's not a question you should ask because that's like a duh. You know the answer to this question already. Why are you asking it? So, but
yep, gotta get pucks deep, right?
Get pucks deep. There was a notice at the top, not to derail the show here. There's a notice that. Did you put that up here? Is your name Karai? Karai?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. All I saw was Kyra join. I'm like, what the hell is that? I didn't see it just now. Did someone else join?
You realize? So for those who don't know, when we join the show, since we're remote, we have to join Kurt in this little chat. Kurt was giving me, you were putting random names in from something. They were all related whenever I was running the show.
Yeah.
I can't remember now.
One was, Ferris Bueller was a couple of them.
Yeah, I
Sausage
don't know.
King.
You had kind of a theme. I've got a theme going this season. I don't know if you've picked up on it yet.
No. I have
No?
too much stuff going on. I can't. I don't pay attention.
Do you ever notice what
I did
my
now.
names are?
I do now. And Bill is legendary. Okay. I don't even look at him. I don't even look at. I honestly I see
Well,
him now.
Mine has been random characters from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise.
Oh my god.
I've had Mondo Gecko. I've had Fishhead.
Casey
April
Jones.
O'Neil was
Casey
one.
Jones. Casey Jones.
I think I've had Casey Jones already.
All right.
Yeah.
So yes,
Mine have all
Karai
the
is
Letterkenny
Shredder's daughter.
references.
Yeah. I okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down now that I see it.
We'll keep paying attention because I won.
Yeah.
I think last week I think I was a metalhead last week.
Okay. All right. I don't. Yeah. I see that. I don't look at the names. I just see that the image is there, and I just pull it over. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Going into OT, we got the Lindgren and net. Which so we're going to OT. Lindgren makes 3 saves to finish out the regulation, and I don't know, look comfortable from what we saw. But it goes to OT, and I'm thinking we don't want this to go to a shootout. No, I don't. Not with Lindgren in net. I don't think. You never know, but still, no thanks. So let's get it done right in overtime. Press hard to get it done in overtime. And it didn't take it less than a minute. Parayko deserves the credit, I think, here to start this play because he's got the puck and he sees Bushnevich come on the ice and he kind of waves him over because Parayko wants off, and which is weird because he just came on, but waves him over, drops the puck for Bushnevich, and then Bushnevich circles around and takes the puck into the zone, curls around the net. Nice wraparound, and which we talked about earlier. And the Blues end up winning this game. And I thought, and we talked, and I think we can also stress one more time about how poorly Spencer Knight played this puck because that's fun to talk about. Really overplaying the puck. If you pause it when he's out of position the most, the middle of his back is like against the post. So he's like way far too over. Way too far over. And he can't get back. He can't get back.
Yeah, you shouldn't have. It's like he overplayed it by like, I don't know, 50%, right? Because your shoulder is what you want there. Maybe a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, his back was perpendicular to the
right in line with the post.
Yeah.
His spine was right.
Right.
And I think if you're coming out that far as a goalie, you almost got. I mean, you realize, oh shit, he's going behind the net. You almost got to trip him up.
Yep.
Get your stick out there and get his ankle or something.
And this is why I loved what Buchnevich did here, because I think why he did that, why he played it that way, and even why maybe Ekblad followed him behind the net. We have not seen teams be aggressive in overtime like this. Typically, they'll get the puck and they'll carry it maybe below the red goal line and then stop and then wait for their teammates to set up and then they'll carry it back. And no, this time Buchnevich was, I'm going to fucking go for it. And he just turned on the jets and went. And I wonder if we haven't seen the way that overtimes have been played in the past couple of years. I wonder if Spencer Knight and Eric Ekblad still play this the same way. I think if we've seen more aggressive NHL teams in overtime, they don't play it that way.
Caught him by surprise, what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, that's it's bugged me how lackadaisical the Blues are, and a lot of teams are, but the Blues in particular, because, you know, I want them to press more. You got that open ice, use it. And if the perfect play isn't there, they back out and come back in again. And how many times we see that happen where the Blues cough the puck up at some point and they haven't tried to actually funnel the puck towards the net, and they lose when they had opportunities to try at least to take the puck to the net and they didn't do it. You know, they're backing out, coming in, and I get the idea behind some of it, but still, it's like missed opportunities by not being aggressive in overtime. And I think maybe some of it too is what I said, that Lindgren's in net. Let's not give these guys opportunities on Lindgren 3-on-3 or to a shootout. Let's end it. Let's go to the net. And that could have been the case.
When you guys saw Buchnevich turn on the speed, and then before he even went past the red goal line, you kind of saw how aggressive Knight was being. Were you doing the same thing as me? I was literally standing up yelling, "Wrap it around, wrap it around, wrap it around!" Like I just knew. I'm like, that's the play here. That's all you can do to ensure a goal.
It's like where's what's his name? We need him. Oh God, I was hoping his name would come to me.
David Clarkson.
No, the Blues wraparound guy was playing in Sweden or in Europe.
Dmitry Yaskin.
Yaskin. Yeah, that's his moment to shine. That play.
Yep.
Wrap around.
Yep. Worked twice.
Did you guys see that in overtime in a game recently, it was 2 teams from other conferences? So basically it was a situation like the Blues and Panthers. This just happened, I think, this week, where it didn't matter if you gave up an extra point to the other team. It wasn't going to affect you in the playoff standings. You just wanted to get the 2 points. You want to get the second point. So a team in the KHL, actually, I think they go 4-on-4 in OT. I could be wrong. They might be 3-on-3 too. But they actually pulled their goalie in overtime.
Yes.
Because they just wanted the extra 2 points, and they said, if we don't get the 2 points here, it's fine. It's not a conference team. So they ended up winning. What do you guys think about that? How would you feel if the Blues would have done that in this game?
Isn't there a rule if you wasn't there a rule in place in that league if you pull your goalie in overtime to go 4-on-3 and you lose the extra point you gained?
That might be the case.
I read that somewhere. Sure. I'm not sure if it applied to this situation or which league it was, but it applies in some league somewhere, which is interesting.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting little wrinkle to that scenario.
Well, apparently not in the KHL.
Well, what I think of pulling your goalie to get extra point, I love aggressive offensive strategies. I'm all for that kind of thing. It creates kind of. I mean, if you lose, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but in the end, it's something different. It's conversation. It's like you create debate, and it's exciting. I'm not, I mean, I'm all for something to change things up.
Yeah, I'm. As the resident goalie here, I'm always against pulling the
goalie. Hurts the GAA.
Give me the minutes, bitch.
Hurts the. If
it does, it hurt. Yeah, it hurts all the stats because you have less game time played. Right.
So if you allow 2 goals and you're pulled with a minute and a half to go, your goals against average is like 2.03 or something. That's higher.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking coaches. Keenan. Gutty performance and a real nice rebound after a terrible first period where Florida walked over the Blues. Husso was the man again, even though he couldn't finish the game. Blues were 1 for 5 on the power play, killed all 5 power plays against. Were outshot 40-30. Pretty good considering they were outshot 20-5 in the first period. Faceoffs were even. And the one that evened it up was the one they won in overtime. And they never gave up possession of the puck, and they won. So faceoffs are important, kids. Blues out hit Florida 23-12, but had 16 giveaways to 3 for Florida. And we've talked about this before, about the giveaway stat is weird. Florida only gave away the puck 3 times in this entire game. That's bullshit. 3 times in the first 10 minutes, maybe, of the game.
Let me just add, too, and I'm going to sound like a total gaming nerd here. In NHL 22, one of the stats they love to show now is passing efficiency. Even in that game where it is very simple for a game to read, I finished a game where I won like 4-1, and the other team's passing efficiency was 100%. And I'm like, that's bullshit. There is no way I didn't turn over 1 puck in that game. And it's the same here with the NHL.
Yeah, I know.
It's such a silly stat. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's always off.
Brian Roberts said the lose a point if you pull your goalie in overtime is in the NHL. So if you pull your goalie in overtime, you lose the point if you lose in overtime. So
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
I do too. It's and I'm not exactly sure why it's in place. I'm trying to think of a scenario why that was brought up and why that was agreed to. What would that serve? Why do that?
I mean, the other
To
thing
stop
to think
teams from
of is
doing it, I guess. But
if it's the 82nd game and you know a tie, I don't know.
I guess
You
to,
know,
I guess to,
actually,
I guess
take it
to
back.
stop
I don't know.
teams from doing it, if you are a high puck possession team in overtime and you hold it for 3.5 minutes out of the 5, you can pull your goalie, and I don't know. I guess, but I
I mean,
like
it's still almost worth it as long as you've got four
if you
guys on the ice that know how to hold the puck. It's still almost worth it to
you know
give it a shot.
if you're a high, like I said, if you're a puck possession team in overtime, you can hold the puck for 2 or 3 straight minutes, easy. I've seen it happen to the Blues. The Blues, like I've seen the Blues have overtimes where they might have had possession once, in overtime, which is a very frustrating overtime to go through. Next up for the Blues, Detroit, Thursday night. Lindgren gets the start. We'll have an E-Bug as backup, I guess, or what are we doing with? That's the thing, right? I know we signed Gillies.
No, Gillies should be able to play as emergency.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to sign Gillies because Hofer's contract still is
Too much
cap problematic because of the bonus.
Yeah.
bonuses, right? Bonuses
Yeah.
put him over.
So they had to sign somebody
Now,
else.
Gillies can back up.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I
but
thought.
they-
But then I guess the Gillies signing happened after the E-Bug was practicing.
Morning skate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had an E-Bug in today, but yeah, it was a tomorrow. They still have to play with 17. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, as far as goalies go, they will have an NHL backup tomorrow. Ken Morris in the YouTube chat asks us, anyone know the status of Husso? Will he be available against the Dead Wings? We do not have a status update, but with the Gilly signing today, I'm pretty sure Bill and Kurt will agree that we are 100% positive he will not be available tomorrow.
Yeah, Armstrong said that there would be updates on Friday for both Wallman and Husso. So clearly, with the Gillies signing and that announcement from Armstrong, no Husso tomorrow, and no Wallman.
One of the St. Louis Blues Twitter accounts, not the St. Louis, but one of the Blues Twitter accounts, said Blues fan Twitter accounts said, "Oh, Wallman has a broken arm. Bank on it." I'm like, maybe. I don't know about that.
See,
we'll see.
I completely missed what happened to him.
I still haven't seen it. The replay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, you've seen the aftermath with him skating away with his arms slunk down to the side like it's out of place.
Yeah.
I saw that,
yeah.
but I didn't see what caused it.
No, I didn't see what caused it. We'll talk about the COVID protocol cap rule fiasco that the Blues are having to deal with right now, and along with other teams as well, after this word from our good friends over at Center Ice Brewery. Center Ice Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit CenterIceBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly. Matt Harris in the YouTube chat said something about Brown reminds me of the way Pat Maroon plays for some reason. Hopefully Brown either stays and keeps his momentum or goes back down after the team recovers more. So I think I would I'd like to think of Brown as a more skilled Pat Maroon, but I think Maroon is probably probably more effective around the net just because of his size. Although, I mean, not height wise advantage over Brown because Brown's taller, but
Right.
bit of a wider body,
Right.
I like
Chubby,
what
chubby,
but effective.
but effective, right?
I like what Kent Morris said actually to go along with that. He says Brown's build reminds me of Tage Thompson, which
Wait,
don't look now, folks. Tage Thompson's actually starting to round into a pretty good NHL player for Buffalo.
I was
Well,
going
they
to
won the
say,
trade.
is there another Ryan O'Reilly we can trade for?
Yeah, right.
The Buffalo did
Now,
win the trade, Jeff.
I watched Buffalo's game last night. He what we loved about him was his ability to just come in and shoot the puck. Like at the time, that's what the Blues needed, was a guy to just shoot. And he's been doing that a lot more, and he's much more accurate than I remember. So he's not saying Buffalo will win that trade because they never will. But Tage Thompson's starting to actually look like a pretty decent NHL player.
What if Tage Thompson develops into a 60-point guy and they win the cup? And they win the cup. Because Mike and Tage Thompson is the final MVP. That's so funny to say.
Then yeah, maybe we'll have that discussion.
Even if that happens, then the trade might be a draw at best.
Yeah,
they still don't win the trade.
No, no, unless they win like 4 Stanley Cups and Tage Thompson's the Conn Smythe winner every time.
This is fantasy absurdness now. This is not going to happen. COVID protocol cap rules have put the Blues in salary cap hell. With the NHL and NHLPA agreeing to not give cap relief to teams who have players on COVID protocol, that rule is screwing a number of teams this season, including the Blues, who are dressing less than 19 players, less than 18 skaters, and skating a forward or 2 short to remain cap compliant because they don't have the cap space to call up AHL players.
Let me add in there real quick what I said on Twitter, and it's getting a lot of love. So apparently, what I said is correct. Because that's how we judge things, is how many likes we get on Twitter, right?
Which no.
Yeah.
No.
So no, it's I love how the NHL is. We are taking COVID-19 protocols very seriously, but at the same time, if your team is ravaged by COVID-19, we're going to make your skaters play harder because they're going to have to skate with less guys. And this is a disease that affects your cardiovascular system. So let's make these guys breathe harder and have a harder time dealing with just overall health. You look at a guy like Robert Thomas, who's injured, probably been playing injured for a while. Imagine if he had COVID on top of that. Yeah, that's the NHL for you right there in a nutshell.
And you could. I've seen some people say that, well, the Blues are playing with fire coming into the season by being so close to the cap. Okay, fine, fair enough. But this is affecting our goaltending too. So Husso was hurt last night. Started the last few games because Bennington's on COVID protocol. So we had to sign Gillies as well. I think the NHL needs to fix this. The Blues aren't the only team suffering with these goofy rules. Other teams have suffered and even had to cancel games. So and what's goofy is the NHL has stated, and this was rather silently before the season started. I didn't hear about this until recently, that any unvaccinated player that is suspended due to COVID reasons.
Which, real quick, that means one guy, right?
Yeah, one guy.
Only one NHL player.
If one
Tyler
player,
Bertuzzi.
Yeah, one. Yeah. But going into the season, they didn't know that it was just going to be one. So it is Tyler Bertuzzi, one person that we know of. So if one unvaccinated player is suspended due to COVID reasons, which would happen, he gets suspended. Players would get suspended in, like, I guess, technical terms only. If they were in quarantine due to traveling between Canada and the U.S. So if you're unvaccinated and you travel to Canada or U.S., you have to quarantine to come back, right, or to go there. So while you're in quarantine, the team would be given cap relief to replace that player on the roster. So his salary is not counted against the salary cap, so you can replace that player. Which seems weird to me. It's backwards that they would allow cap relief in that situation, but to not allow cap relief to help out with vaccinated players who actually do come down with COVID. And so now you're putting the team behind the eight ball whose team is completely vaccinated. And they're going by the guidelines. They're doing what the NHL is requesting players do, is get vaccinated. And they do that. They follow the requests. And then they catch COVID. And the NHL doesn't give cap relief. But they're giving cap relief to a team that has an unvaccinated player, a guy who's rebelling and bucking the system, right? And not doing what the NHL is requesting. But his team can get cap relief, even if he doesn't have come down with COVID, because he's suspended because he is in quarantine, and they qualify that as being suspended without pay. So that means he is technically like LTIR, where he can get cap relief. You can cap relief, which is so backwards to me. If you're going to give cap relief in that situation, why aren't you giving cap relief to vaccinated players who come down with COVID?
And let's add to talking about the one player, like just because this is the one example we can use of Tyler Bertuzzi. He's in a division with Toronto, with Ottawa, with Montreal. He's going to have plenty of opportunity to give his team cap relief because he can't travel to Canada. Whereas the Blues, yes, they've got Winnipeg in their division, but they only travel there, twice this year? So it's so backwards.
Yeah,
right.
It's not fair at all and I know that, yes, life isn't fair. That's what the NHL would say. But come on. I mean, again, like Kurt said, we are this team, most teams, 31 NHL teams are following all the guidelines you want with COVID. And even the Red Wings are, just one guy isn't. So you're going to punish these other teams when they have COVID? Okay, we're not going to give you cap relief, but hey, this one asshole who we wanted to get vaccinated won't. We'll give them cap relief because he can't play in Canada, basically. That doesn't make sense. That's ridiculous.
Contaminated. This is a virus that is highly contagious, right, and can spread easily amongst a team. So if you're not giving cap relief to players who come down with COVID, and half your team gets it, then and if the league makes you play, because they've had to cancel games this season for a couple teams who have had too many players on the COVID list. But if you have a number of players who come down with COVID because it's highly transmissible, and they say no, you're still playing, but if you're up against the cap, you can't replace the players with AHL players. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to play shorthanded. It doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't give you cap relief in this situation. I'm trying to understand the logic here as to why the NHL and NHLPA both agreed to this before the season started. I'm not sure, and it's screwing some teams. And if you want, I mean, the league would rather cancel games entirely than to allow them to bring up AHL players using cap relief. To allow them to have the space to bring up if you're up against the cap. Now, if you're not up against the cap, if you got $5, $6, $8, $10 million in cap room, well, you're okay. You can bring up players. Well, it doesn't matter. But for teams that are up against the cap, they're playing within the rules. They're staying within the cap, but they're getting fucked because the league is not giving them the cap space they need for a highly transmissible disease that could take out 3, 4, 5 players.
And let's add, the NHL wants teams to spend the cap. They do, because that means better players, better scoring. That's what the league wants. Higher profile players.
More competitive teams.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
So to say, like, oh, well, if you're up against the cap, you're just fucked. What are you doing? Who are you helping in that situation? You're not helping anyone. You're not helping the league rules. You're not helping the team that's getting fucked. The only team that you're helping, the only people you're helping is the team that is playing against the team that has to play with a shorter amount of players. Makes no sense.
Brandon Capone in the YouTube chat says, "Are there any other teams down as many men as us with COVID?" There were a couple teams that had more, and they canceled games. Was it the Islanders? And it was
I think Ottawa had 8, I believe, at one point,
and
so
someone had
they
10.
had to
Someone had
start
10.
canceling games.
Was it Islanders had 10?
It is the Islanders.
Islanders had 10. Yeah. So it was
Right.
and they and the league canceled games, so they didn't. I mean, actually it'd probably work out better if the Blues were to have their games canceled. I mean, no, they played well. Postponed, right? I'm sorry, postponed. No, they played well, and they got a lot of points with the players they've used. But really, going into these games, you're like, well, this game should almost be canceled because they can't. You're dressing an e-bug, or you're in danger of dressing an e-bug unless you go out and sign somebody, right? So that's a messed up situation.
No, and not even that. That's not even the point. The fact that unless they sign someone. No, because the Blues still had to play with an e-bug in Tampa. Even if they would have signed John Gillies, they wouldn't have been able to play him as the backup goalie because the emergency situation.
That's
you have to play one game. Guys, can we take a little break here from the show? Let's remember when the three of us were in couples therapy, and the therapist made us work together and do word association.
I hate working in groups. I hate working in groups. I hate it.
Well,
I hate the show.
That's why we had to go to therapy. We had to work this out.
I forgot. Yes.
Yeah. So come on, Kurt. Come on. This was the whole basis of why we did that.
Right. That's why I'm divorced. Yeah.
So when I say, okay, so let's do some word association here. What's the first
wordplay
word or phrase that comes to mind when I say the following word? Emergency.
Sex.
No. You know what? This exercise does not warrant incorrect answers.
Sorry.
That was an incorrect answer.
Damn it. All right. Go again.
Emergency.
Penis. No, sorry.
Okay,
emergency. Oh, sorry.
Immediacy, right? Like immediacy.
Urgent. Urgency.
Urgent,
yeah.
Right? But according to the NHL, emergency means, well, play one game and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're doing.
It has to be a real emergency.
Your emergency backup or your emergency recall, you have to play one game first before you're allowed to use that. What the fuck why do you call it emergency then? Because they had to play the kid from Tampa. They had to put him in goalie gear. What if Ville Husso got hurt in that game in the first period? All of a sudden, it's a David Ayres situation. You're playing against one of the best teams in the league with a fucking kid from Tampa who has no business playing in the NHL, let's be honest. And then
did you hear what he said? The quote?
What'd he say?
Yeah, his teammate? Or no, he did. He before the game, they asked him if he was ready. He goes, "Yeah, I've been on fire with my men's league team. My beer league team.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go."
I feel like I had to play an emergency role as a defenseman, if that were a thing, that's the kind of shit I would say.
Oh,
God,
like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I scored a goal in my last game. I'm feeling good.
You want your quote to be on SportsCenter, on TSN.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I honestly think, that being an e-bug was, is every goalie that did make the NHL's lifelong dream, right? Oh, the goalie's injured. They need somebody. I'm in the audience. I'm going to get to play. Right. And after the David Ayres thing, it got so much great publicity for the league, except for the Leafs. Right. I don't know if there's a certain Twitter account that used to be this many days since the Leafs last won the Stanley Cup. But since David Ayres, they've added on to that and lost to a Zamboni driver playing goalie for the other team. Right. So it's kind of this, the NHL gets this, gets all of this goodwill marketing publicity, with these, these moments that become viral, David Ayres, or, how much on Twitter did you see that, with Conan during the Blues game, them giving him the lap out, he gets to take the rookie lap and he's not wearing a bucket. And all these big accounts are out there tweeting, he's doing the hero lap.
Legendary.
Right.
Without the bucket.
Right. And so they're getting all this. But what happens when it winds up blowing up in our face? Right. I think it started a couple years ago. Who was the guy up in Chicago? The guy who was an accountant and,
Oh
got
my
called up in
God.
the afternoon.
Yeah.
Foster?
And
Was it
Yes.
Foster?
Yeah.
Scott Foster.
Yeah, he
Scott
played.
Foster.
Scott Foster.
And and it got all this great play. And so now the NHL has this whole marketing thing built, this whole goodwill marketing thing built around it, and it's getting all this, like I said, just keeps getting all this great publicity. But wait until it blows up, and then you're going to see the rules change.
Wow.
When rumor had it back in the early 90s, when I was in high school and going to games, that Lindsay Middlebrook, former NHL goalie, and he was the guy that was running the hockey department at Johnny Mac Sports. Rumor has it that he was the guy that the Blues would turn to if they had to go to an e-bug. And at this point he was in his 40s, and 40s, maybe 50s, and not guy in the best shape. That's not the guy that you're going to want to put in there. And teams have gotten better about knowing who their e-bugs are, and having the local system scout out players for that. But when it happens and it blows up and a guy gives up 9 goals in a period, you're going to see these rules change.
These rules are not supposed. I mean, it's okay. The e-bug, I think it was fine when it happened once in a blue moon, but it seems like now with what's going on, it's almost a weekly thing where a team has an e-bug situation, and or a monthly thing, and that's way too often. You can't have that.
Well, and my issue with it isn't even just the e-bug thing. My problem is with this game. Let's talk about the game with the Tampa. It wasn't, we can't get a goalie here, so we need an e-bug. We had an injury early in morning skates. We need an e-bug. It was because of the cap, and we were not providing cap relief. You have to dress an e-bug tonight. Basically, a guy you're not paying, so it's not going against the cap. That's fucking bullshit. That is absolute bullshit, because it's an emergency backup situation. So you need to, and the Blues could have said, we need Joel Hofer up here, or Charlie Lindgren, or whoever. Okay, bring them up, because it's an emergency situation. You need a backup for your goalie. This was the NHL saying, we're not providing cap relief because you've got a guy on COVID protocol. You don't have the cap space, so you have to have an e-bug no matter what. We don't care if this game is played at midnight, and you can have a guy here 5 hours early. You still need to dress an e-bug. That's bullshit. That is terrible management by the NHL.
Can you imagine if Major League Baseball said to a team that their reliever got hurt, their number one reliever, and they're like, no, you've got to sign somebody from the crowd and pitch in the game as a reliever. That's not going to go over too well.
And if if the game was at 7:00 and the guy got hurt at 2, and it was nope, you can't call someone up. You gotta
an emergency backup situation.
You gotta take notes from people coming into the game who can pitch.
An emergency backup situation should call for an emergency measure by the league to allow, especially with goaltending. If you want to say you got to play short forwards or defensemen, okay, you can do that. You can play a man short forward on defense. You can do that. It happens. But to bring in a guy, with no NHL experience, a men's league goalie, a beer league guy, who might be pretty darn good, but they shouldn't be playing the NHL, or not even the AHL. They should call for an emergency situation where they can allow a team, if there's time for them to get there, to call up a guy from their AHL. Now, granted, our AHL team is on the East Coast, but still.
But the Blues are on the East Coast.
Right.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Right.
Well, Southern, but
right. The collective bargaining thing seems to be so, such a scary topic for the NHL, and it seems like there are too many lawyers that have have their say with, right. And Sheldon totally agrees with me. He hates lawyers.
Who
but
doesn't?
there's just like too much non-commonsensical approach, that it doesn't make sense, on on the soft side of it. To Jeff's point, it's fucking bullshit, right? You need to be able to field a competitive team, and
It sounds like you're on a ship with a squeaky big iron door behind you, going opening and closing slowly.
yeah,
Or you're gonna
yeah,
whale out in the ocean somewhere,
yeah.
making noise.
I'm actually on my way up to go visit Ken Morris in Nova Scotia right now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Are you passing
No,
a pod of
can you
whales?
imagine to Bill's scenario where the goalie gives up 9 goals in a period? We'll see the rules change at that point, whatever. Imagine if that happened in that game against the Lightning, because it was, they had to play this guy. Ville Husso, let's say he gets hurt in that game. It wasn't, the Blues could have called up their AHL goalie and avoided this. The NHL told them, you have to dress an e-bug tonight. How bad a press would that have looked? That would have been the exact opposite of the David Ayres situation.
Ken Morris says Toronto makes me laugh after the David Ayres incident. And okay, so Ken, if you want
Toronto Make Me Laughs, that's one of their Canadian.
The Toronto Make Me Laughs,
right? Instead of Maple Leafs.
If you, if you want to hear something funny, if you're familiar with Steve Dangle, who works for Sportsnet, has a YouTube deal, does like reviews and analysis and funny analysis of NHL plays. You should go watch his show on YouTube after the David Ayres incident, because he's a Maple Leafs fan.
He's a Maple Leafs fan.
Yeah, and it's so funny. He's
right. He's somebody. I saw somebody tweet something about how is this guy so popular. Well, he is the embodiment of the everyman Maple Leafs fan, right? He is the emotional expression of being a Leafs fan.
He really is, and he knows his stuff too. So he's not some Yahoo. He knows his stuff. But he is just very emotional, like you said, and it's a high pitched yelling, but under control at the same time. It's kind of funny, but he also is well aware of how incompetent the Leafs have been, and he's makes fun of them for it. And it's a good time. It's funny, but he also does all kinds of league analysis, league reviews on plays and stuff, and funny things that happen, and it's good stuff. If you haven't seen him, check it out, especially that show after the David Ayres incident, losing to his Zamboni driver. that works for the team.
Yeah, right. An employee.
Yeah, an employee of the team just beat us, the Zamboni driver. So Kevin Weeks made some comments on the Blues after Tuesday night's win. Kevin Weeks, this was on ESPN. They're in the crease segment, which they do nightly, I think, after games, it's like an NHL Tonight kind of thing. They recap games and stuff. It's pretty good. But after Tuesday night's win, Kevin Weeks said, he's a former NHL goalie, by the way, the Blues and Panthers could be a Stanley Cup final preview. And I kind of looked at the TV. I'm like, okay, optimistically, for sure.
Where's he going with this?
Yeah, where are you going with this? Are you going to explain why? Because I like to hear this. And his co-host said, and the reasoning behind that, you said that before. And he goes, the Blues are back. Coaching staff has done an outstanding job. Bennington is better than ever, and they're healthy. The young players are excelling. I'm like, whoa. You lost me at they're healthy. You can't say they're healthy when they are the exact opposite of healthy. They've got a lot of players out with injury and COVID, and they just lost their number 2 goalie when their number 1 is already out, and they lost Wallman in the game too. They just had 2 injuries in the game. They are not healthy whatsoever. Now, they've been playing pretty good, getting some points in the last 5 games. They got 7 out of 10 points, which is good, real good considering. But yeah, I'm just like, I love the respect he's given the Blues. I think it's fun, but let's be honest. Let's just not make stuff up.
There's one name that comes to mind why he said that. Tarasenko. I think what he maybe, and that's the only thing I can think of,
Yeah,
is he maybe was like, Tarasenko's playing like a healthy Tarasenko again. And that was what he meant,
Yeah.
but it was a very short, they're healthy. And
You
it's
know
like, nah, more than one guy's healthy.
He could have easily said, he could have used the fact that the Blues have been decimated with injuries and COVID issues and forced to play shorthanded because of COVID cap issues, and they still got 7 out of the 10 points in the last 5 games, 4 of which against really good teams. That could have been the foundation for his discussion. So when the Blues do get healthy, they'll be that much better. They're in second place in the division right now, in a tight, good division. We'll talk about in a second. And that could have been his foundation for his argument, and I could buy into that. But yeah, the reasons it was given.
Hang on a second. Hang on. I just got a call from ESPN.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. They're offering Kurt. You're going to take Kevin Weeks' job.
Yeah. Okay.
Congratulations.
All right. Good. All right. We'll bring some respectability back.
You
to ESPN.
did it, Kurt. You did it. All right. So Kevin Weeks will be on Let's Go Blues Radio next week.
We're switching jobs. It's like. Yeah, it's like a Mark Reardon and that other guy and Cam Wex and the FM station. They swap places. The FM station no one listens to, he went to.
Right. And then next week, Jeff will be the minority. This is an all goalies podcast going forward.
Oh, shit. All right. I'll start my own show. Damn. I'm going to get kicked out. Mike McKenna's going to join.
Jason Miller.
Yeah.
Trust me, I try to get that fucker on the show. He refuses. He says he doesn't like the sound of his voice. And I'm like, you have a beautiful voice, crappy goalie.
You know what? Nobody likes the sound of their voice because they don't hear that often.
Except us.
See, here's the thing. When we do the show and you go into, like, when we first started doing the show, my voice sounds weird. But now that I'm used to doing post-production and stuff and hearing our show when we do editing and stuff, I'm like, I sound exactly the way I sound, I think, to other people. I sound like I think I sound. So it's just a matter of getting used to how you sound.
You want to get used to hearing your own voice. Back in my old Total Hockey days when I worked in the marketing department, if you go back and look at, Total Hockey is now Pure Hockey, but if you go back and look at their old YouTube channel, I did a lot of the product videos, so you can hear my voice. I did the voiceover for, the new Wrecker stick or the new Vapor skates or whatever. And I would be sitting in the office and I would just randomly hear my voice because they were editing the video. And I would just look around and I'm like, does anybody else hear that? That's my voice. Oh yeah, that's right. They're editing a video with my voice in it. That will get you very, very used to hearing your voice.
Ken Morris said, "What's wrong with the Avs?" And I'm like, nothing.
Nothing tonight.
Well, I mean,
7-3 drubbing of the Rangers.
They're 7-2-1 in the last 10. They're moving up the standings after being near the bottom to start the season because they were bad to start the season, but they also had injuries and stuff and COVID. But they've got 2 games in hand on Minnesota, and they're 7 points behind them. They just tied the Blues with 30 points tonight. They have 2 games in hand on the Blues. So, and they're, like I said, 7-2-1 in the last 10. That's playing good. Scoring some goals.
It'd be great. It'd be great to see the Blues, when they play them here again soon because they're Central Division rivals. So we'll see this matchup plenty this season, right?
Surely, right? Yeah, surely.
Oh wait, we have one more game. It's the end of the season.
Yeah.
Right.
Unbelievable schedule.
I think a more apropos question at this very minute is what's wrong with the Stars?
Yeah.
They had a commanding lead in this game, and they're losing empty net
in this game.
47 and a half seconds to go.
They won. They just won 7 in a row too before this game. So
yeah. Well, they look pretty bad tonight.
Yeah, they were looking like bottom feeders again. They were looking like bottom feeders again, like they were last season. But that 7-game winning streak really shot them up. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, they were under 500 before the streak.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you have 97 goalies that can play for you on any given night,
True.
Helps your chances.
Speaking of Colorado and Dallas, the Central Division is getting tight. Minnesota has a 7-point lead in the Blues. Tied for second place Blues now. Actually, technically third because Colorado has the tiebreak. Minnesota's won 7 straight. Dallas has won 7 straight until they lose this game. And the Blues and the Predators are separated by a point and the Blues, they played the same amount of games. So the Blues need to get healthy, I think, and get guys back from COVID protocol to help out in this division because the division looks tough right now.
Here's my plan. Send Jordan Binnington to Dallas and have him breathe on all the Stars players.
Anyway.
Have COVID go through them too. That's the way to do it.
What were you gonna say, Bill?
I was gonna say my favoring of the Jets does not look very good right now.
Well, they did.
Believe
They did
how
just
far down the standings they've gotten.
They did just beat Toronto, right? Or was it 2 games ago? They beat Toronto in a rough game. A lot of fights in that game.
Yeah.
Bill, you and I both thought Winnipeg would be better than they are, but again, we're a fourth through the season. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the Wild are playing well above expectation, I think.
Yes.
And,
they need to come down to earth.
Yeah. But they do have 2 games in hand at this point. So
Colorado.
Yeah.
They're
right.
they're same as us.
Really?
They played 25.
I misread that.
They play tonight?
No.
Okay. They play 25, we play 25. Yeah.
They have got everybody rolling in that roster. I was watching the game last night, and Dmitry Kulikov scored a ridiculous goal, and just out on the breakaway, a goal, a defenseman, and it's just every single player is playing their best hockey right now. They will come back down to earth a bit, but I think a lot of people overlooked Minnesota. I think they are a very solid team. And Cam Talbot looks great in net, too.
Yeah.
We'll see if he holds. How bad are the Islanders? So rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. They just had lost 11 straight before beating Ottawa last night. 11 straight. I think it was the 4th longest streak in team history, which that to me is amazing. They've our 4th longest streak in NHL history. I don't know. That was a lot. 11 straight.
Yeah.
Coming into the season, they were supposed to be a force. They're 6-10-5 right now, 70 points. Last place in the Metro Division. 21 points out of first place already. Minus 21 in goal differential. They haven't won at home in the new arena yet. They've only played their 6 games. They're 0-4-2 because they had a 13-game road trip to start the season due to the arena not being finished being built. So, that's, man, Islanders fans, they had high expectations this season. And it ain't happening right now.
Didn't they just lose their goaltender too? What's his face? Shesterkin?
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they? That just happened. What, a couple games ago? He's hurt.
Yeah, let me look.
Yeah, but he's not that's not the reason why they're.
Oh, Shesterkin's the Rangers goalie. My bad.
Right.
The other guy.
But Shesterkin, I think Shesterkin is injured. The
he
Rangers
is.
threw out there tonight did not look good.
Right.
So
I did hear that.
Sorokin is who I was thinking of.
Sorokin.
Okay.
Yeah, they have Varlamov and Sorokin.
Yeah, they're not good.
That's surprising.
Barry
Trotz led team that is that defensively poor. I don't know. I think that says a lot about how great, they lost some key members of that defense and went young on the defense. Like they traded Devon Taves and Nick Leddy left, so they're not as strong on the back end, and the kids aren't playing up to their potential. I think, at least from a distant outsider's opinion.
Now I say that they're 21 points out of first place. They also have a number of games in hand on Washington. They have 5 games in hand. So assuming they win all 5, which is a big assumption, that would put them 11 points out first.
And like you said, they have not played a lot of.
Can't hear you.
games.
You're real quiet. Fix your cord. Quit screwing around with the cord. Still
Nope.
same.
Nope.
Still same.
Nope.
Still same.
Nope.
Worse.
This is terrible. How about now?
Same.
No.
Same.
You've been cut off, Jeff.
Oh, god damn it! All right, move on.
The immaculate assist happened last night. Anaheim Ducks. Trevor Zegras dished one of the coolest assists you'll ever see, and will certainly be a goal of the year candidate. I don't care what goal you'll score this season; this will be up there. There was nothing overly impressive about the goal itself. It was the assist that makes the play amazing. If you haven't seen it, facing the Buffalo Sabres, Zegras is behind the Sabres net and flips the puck over the goal to Milano, who bats it out of midair and into the goal. Datsuk for the Red Wings tried this back in the day, but it didn't result in a goal. First time I've seen it work in the NHL. Post-game interviews, they said the players were calling Michigan, Michigan before he flipped it. And that is what it's called, kids. It's not called anything else. It's called the Michigan. I liked Zegras' reaction in the corner. He never smiled. He was just beside himself, what just happened? What did I just do?
Off in the NHL.
Yeah. He was just his jaw was open. He was like, what just happened? It was so cool. It was like a little kid, but just it was just unbelievable. Not even smiling, just funny. And also, like we talked about before the show, horrible defense by Buffalo. Just not taking the body, letting the guy stand there. They could have passed the puck in front on the ice and had maybe a goal. I mean, they weren't tying him up at all. So, and honestly, I don't know what the big deal is with this goal. I did this in ball hockey a number of times, and we scored a couple times on it. So, what's the big deal?
Yeah, we talked about it before the show. Bad defense.
Oh, terrible.
Just awful.
It's Buffalo.
Yeah. They again, like you said, he could have skated out and slid the puck in front, and Milano would have still had a clean shot on goal. But having said that, still impressive. Very impressive.
So cool. Yeah, more of this, please. Even though we've talked about it, if a guy does this in men's league, all right, and you don't score, and he tries it again and doesn't score, this is a good way to get your ass beat in men's league. I can't really explain it other than a guy is trying to showboat and show your team up, make you look silly. And that's the gist of it, I guess. But there's really no legit reason why you should beat his ass for doing this if someone does this in men's league. But it will happen. Well, it's okay. How is it? I'm going to play devil's advocate for you. So, how is this labeled as showboating when a nice move on a breakaway scores? Not between the legs stuff, just a really good deke.
Depends on the score of the game.
Okay, what if it's a 2-2 game and you pull off this move behind the net? Is it still a showboating?
Yeah, but not as bad.
You know what? I'll come forward. So I'm talking as a forward, and I'm all about the creativity. I like this, but I also understand that if I try it, I better score, because if I don't score, it's weird. I think if you score, much less chance of getting your ass beat than if you don't score.
Well,
because
okay.
If you don't score, you're trying to pull this move off and you can't do it. If you're going to try and pull it off, you better fucking pull it off. Because if you can't do it, you're trying to do something you can't do, and also showboating, and that's worse. Maybe, right?
Let me give you a scenario that actually happened to me.
Give me a scenario that actually happened to you.
We were down 6-1, and it was a guy who used to play with us. He used to play with us, and he was supposed to play with us that session, but then said he was injured and he couldn't play. And he ended up playing on another team. We ended up seeing him at the rink. We're like, what the hell, man? He goes, oh, yeah, I'm fine now. Well, what the hell, man? He said you were going to play with us. So yeah, end of the game, 12 seconds left. He fucking pulls the Michigan, pulls it off, throws his arms in the air, skates right off the rink, doesn't stay for handshakes because he knows we're all wanting to kick his ass. That is one scenario where it actually happened. And I said,
That
he better not be here for handshakes because that is one time I will actually take a swing.
that is a drastically different situation, though.
Yes. I will agree.
That I mean, he's already yeah.
He did that in a 2-2 game with 12 seconds left. I'd be pissed, but I'd be like, oh, well.
You know what?
Shit happens.
I think if you try it in a 2-2 game with 12 seconds to go and it fails, I think I'd be more pissed as a teammate. Trying something that that with a high probability rate of failing. I was like, go with something that's a little more traditional that the guys are expecting. To maybe score a goal. Yeah, I don't know. I love the creativity. It made all the highlight rules. People love it. But it's weird how in certain situations that play will get your ass beat. And it's interesting to think about. And I totally get it, because if someone does that to my team, I instantly hate the player and I want to beat his ass. But I can't explain it other than them trying to showboat. But I'm like, well, is it really? I mean, how is it different than a really nice move outside the ice?
It's really just a matter of what the score is.
Maybe.
If it's a tie game, if the other team's got a lead and you pull it off, okay, I'm a little pissed,
Maybe.
but whatever. I'm not going to do anything about it. But if it's a showboating move and you've already got a big lead, that's where I draw the line and say, okay, that guy needs to get his ass kicked.
I've actually I've actually tried flipping it and then going in front myself and trying to bat it in. Yeah, that's even more showboating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a high saucer pass. You can think of it that way. It's just a lofty pass.
This isn't the NBA.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just arguing both sides of the fence here for whatever reason. It is a little irrational. I mean, let's be honest. It's a little irrational to want to beat the guy's ass, even though I fall into that category. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to kick. Every time I see a goal like that scored against my team, my first thought is, I'm going to fucking punch that guy next chance I get, or I'm going to rock him into the boards. And it's just adrenaline talking, man. I bet the same guys say the same shit on the on the bench in the NHL.
Here's the deal. Okay, Heavy Hockey Network, which is formerly Oilers Live, right? So in the YouTube chat, they said that type of goal has no place in men's league. It is showboating 100%. Go ahead and score it, but you need to back it up. And what do you mean by back it up? Like physically, or you have to score on it?
I'd say he means physically. You're going to have to
physically. Yeah, you're
Okay.
going to have to fight.
Okay, but why? I mean, I'm with him.
It's an unwritten rule.
I'm arguing both sides, but really to say it's showboating, well, stop it. Stop the play. Stop it if it's showboating. Knock him on his ass while he's doing it, or I don't know.
It's one of those that when it comes to this type of showboating, it's like the government's perception of pornography.
Why is it showboating though?
I can't define it, but I know it when I see it.
You know what?
And that's the same thing here. I think it's just a matter of certain things you shouldn't do in men's league, and when you see it, you're getting an ass kicking.
See, I think I just enjoy the debate here, but why is it showboating? It's a pass. It's a flip pass. What if you flip pass over the defense?
In the NHL, it's showboating.
Well,
I'm
no.
fine with that.
I'm talking in any league. So what if so a different scenario. So you're coming down and a little flip dump. Okay, and you flip the puck over the defense, and you got a forward on the wing break in past the defense, and your flip dump lands on his stick and has a breakaway. Is that showboat? You're flipping the pass. Same kind of thing.
Right. It happened. Right. That happened the other night.
It's
what's
the design play.
Well, Well, this could be a design play. It could be a planned play. They could plan this and say, "You do this, I'll do that, and we'll flip it over the net and see if it counts."
I can't put words behind it, Kurt. It's just not acceptable.
And that's why I'm doing this, because I agree with you, but I can't solidly defend it either without just admitting that I don't like another team looking that good or trying to look that good, at my expense. And that's not a good reason.
Maybe part of it's in defense of the goalie, because that is a hard play to stop. So we always talk about how you want to defend your goalie on every play. They crash the net, you want to pound the guy. They take an extra whack, you want to pound the guy. This is making the goalie look stupid, so you want to pound the guy.
I'm not comfortable with the way I feel about it, and I can't defend the way I feel about it. So that's why I'm saying this. Because I am on your side, but I'm just arguing both sides of it, just for fun. It's a good discussion. I know, and just saying it's showboating, it's like, well, define showboating. I mean, where's the line? Because there's a lot of, if you're good and you can pull off a move, why is it showboating? I think it's only showboating or showing up the team, like you said, if it's lopsided score and you're doing that, okay, you don't have to rub it in by pulling off those amazing moves if you can do them. Now, if it's a tight game, and that amazing move results in a goal, well, that's fucking awesome. You helped your team, right? You win a game by making that move.
So let me ask.
Yeah.
Merrick Malik, the last shooter of the shootout, pulls out the between the legs back shot across Olaf Kolzig for the goal. Was that showboating?
No. Because how long has that gone? Like 14 shooters? Something like that?
He was the last one. It was the 14th round. Yeah. 14th round, he was the 28th shooter.
What else are you gonna do? There's 14 moves have been made. Try something different. I'm all for it. Was it showboating? I don't know. Define showboating. Something. I guess you don't have to do it.
No, my stance on shootout is there is no showboating. If you can score 1-on-1 with the goalie, no defense backing up, nothing, do whatever the fuck you can to score a goal.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
And I'll be honest with you, when I first saw it, I thought, wow, it's unnecessary. But they scored. So it worked. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if it didn't work, I'd been, why are you doing that? Come on. But so if you to me, I think you have to pull it off for it not to be. To me, it's more showboating if you fail at it, because it's almost like you're trying to do something that you can't, that you really aren't that great at doing if you can't pull it off. I don't know. Maybe that's not accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian Roberts says, is dunking showboating? Not everybody can do it. Same points as a layup.
I would love to comment on that, but I do not watch basketball.
But you do know what dunking is.
I do know what dunking is. I don't want to make a judgment call on something I don't pay attention to.
No, Brian's made some good points. If you're getting paid to play a sport, you can showboat. Right, you're getting paid.
Okay,
part of it is entertainment, right?
Right.
And I think that the argument that you're trying to show people up, right? You might have to answer the bell. You might take a couple extra hits for doing it, but as long as you're okay with that, so be it.
I think you're only showing somebody up if you're trying to pull off an extremely creative move when the score is lopsided. I think that's when you venture into the unnecessary, where it's unnecessary. I think in a close game, if you're trying to move like that, you're trying to do something different to break the tie, and I have no problem with that. Even if it's a crazy play that's a high probability of not happening, I don't know.
Right. And you're probably not going to see somebody on a team who's down, 7-1 try to pull something off like that, because coaches tend to punish that kind of play. Right. So
Yeah.
no, I mean,
I'm with
go
you
out,
there. I'm with you there
just
because you don't
right.
want to embarrass a team. That's not the
Go out to Twitter right now, and well, besides there's apparently some dick got on a soccer pitch in London and got checked down by it was in a female game. Looks like Chelsea. That's all over my timeline. Got checked down by one of the players. It's pretty awesome. But everything else is Trevor Zegras, right? And highlight reels from Trevor Zegras. And this is his first year. He tries some pretty complicated stuff and is been pretty successful. I'm all for injecting energy, and I don't see that it's showing up players, right? If it's a lopsided game, yeah, absolutely, you don't want to rub it in, but
I think this is an interesting discussion because it deals with unwritten rules in hockey and animosity or for having someone try and do that on you. Like someone has the audacity to try that move on my team. Fuck you. I'm going to not put you in your ass. Well, that's not the most mature way to approach that situation either. It's, well, okay, stop him next time or beat him on the scoreboard. That's, you know what I mean?
Right. And
it'll be
interesting, right, to see, what happens, in the next few games for the Ducks, who happen to be coming to town on Sunday, and I think you're going to be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there Sunday.
It'll be interesting to see how teams play them.
And Jeff will be there too, right? Yeah. So,
where are you sitting, Kurt?
We're up high. I'm taking the kids Star Wars night theme tickets, so we're getting the beanies and everything. So, gonna stop by the O'Reilly bobblehead and get some pictures, and hopefully have a good time. Hopefully they win. Probably gonna go to center ice and get the shuttle.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going Saturday since the Habs are in town, and I may have tickets very close to where the ugly Ronaldo statue incident happened, but I will not be wearing a Habs jersey this year.
So good.
Kurt, we'll talk off air, but let's plan maybe to meet up at Center Ice before.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
I'm in 319.
I don't have my. I'm in the upper somewhere, so I don't have them in front of me.
Anybody else go to the game? I'm in 319.
Anyway, okay. Good talk. Jason Spezza was suspended 6 games for neon head hit on Neil Ponick. Spezza. We can talk about whether the justification, whether the 6 games was just or not. But I hated this hit. Hated it. He goes down to hit Ponick and Pionk. Sorry, goes. Yeah, Ponick, not Ponick. Pionk goes down to hit Pionk. When Pionk is like going down to the ice, so he's dead set on hitting him, and it seems retaliatory from Pionk kneeing Sundin earlier.
That's Sundin.
Yeah, early in the shift, like a minute earlier. So, there was that controversial play, and then Spezza goes after Pionk. So, I mean, did you guys think it was retaliatory? Did you think it was predatory? Thoughts on the suspension? 6 games?
I don't know about retaliatory. I mean, maybe, but definitely predatory.
No, I totally saw it as retaliatory.
Okay. Yeah.
Same shift.
Either way, it's predatory. It's a predatory play, whether you see it that way or not. So, I was, Kurt. We talked before the show. Kurt and I thought 10 games or more, even though he's not a repeat offender. Bill, I know you said you thought 6 was the right call.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I say more than 6, I thought 10. I thought I said on Twitter, I would like to see him get 10, but he's probably going to get 6. That's exactly what he got. But the reason why I think it should be more is that I thought it was retaliatory. I thought it was predatory, and I think that should carry more weight because it wasn't an accident. It wasn't like one reckless hit. It was he seeked him out, in my opinion, and retaliated for a hit he made earlier in the shift. So I think that there was intent here to hit him, and he's going down. He goes down low to hit him, and he just drives his knee into his face. And man, it's just bad. It's a bad. I know he's got a pretty clean history, and that's probably why it wasn't more. But I've never really quite understood the history element to it. I get that if you have a history, then yes, tack on even more than what someone should get. But I think with this being, 6 games, it's not. I'd rather see a few more. A double digit would have been nice in this for me.
Kurt sounds to me like he's never been through a disciplinary process in his life. That is core and
no,
common. Is what's your track record?
Yeah, well, I understand. Past history. You're a repeating offender, and it should be more severe because you're not learning your lesson. I understand that aspect of it. I just think that this particular hit was it wasn't like just a hit, a hard hit where an elbow came up and a guy, got an elbow up on somebody. It wasn't. I thought, he was premeditated. So I think that should carry, more than the 6 games. I've always thought the Department of Player Safety is light on suspensions anyway. It seems like when a guy gets 2, I always think it should be 5. When a guy gets 3, I think it should be 6. I always think it should be a little more than what they're given. Mike Yeo is a head coach again.
Who would have thought that? When he was fired, I said he would never head coach another game in the NHL. I guess I wasn't taking into account interim head coaching.
Right. Which is, yeah, so the Flyers fired. That's hard to say. The Flyers fired Elaine Vigneault and made assistant coach Mike Yeo the interim head coach. So in the first interview Yeo gave after the Blues won the Cup, remember this first interview he gave? He didn't give one for a long time. And he said he learned a lot by watching and stepping back and watching. And so that told me that he really wanted to be a head coach again. So it's kind of setting the table there. So we'll see if he can turn things around for the Flyers, who have been not good. Hart has not been the savior that. Remember when Hart and Bennington in 19? Hart came up and then Bennington came up later. And Hart was, people were saying Hart's the future of this Flyers team, the future of the NHL, the next great young goalie. And I don't have his stats in front of me, but he's not having I don't think he's having a good year. Last I looked, he wasn't. Hasn't been good since. 19, I thought he was pretty good, right? But I think he's been kind of off. So,
yeah. Well, Flyers are probably the one place outside of St. Louis where goalies just have a hard time developing from the ground up.
Yeah, well, I get the fan base might have something to do with that. They're hard on people, hard on goalies.
But as long as they're mimicking the other goalies,
Heavy Hockey Network
goaltenders,
right? Heavy Hockey Network said, "Just be happy it wasn't a $5,000 fine for Spezza." I'm like, that's true. I should be happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some fans saying it should really just be a maximum fine.
Why?
Fuck off.
Why?
No, absolutely
not. This is, it's kind of like blowing up a quarterback, after he's already slid. When a quarterback slides, you're supposed to
right.
not hit the guy, right? You let him go. It's like blowing up. It's like Trent Green. It's like the hit. It's like when Trent Green slid, not like was with the Chiefs, I think it was, right? Trent Green slid and he got destroyed, out with a concussion, blow to the head, predatory, went down to get him and everything when he shouldn't have. Same kind of thing. So,
or coming over and hitting your podcast co-host during a charity tournament when the play was not anywhere near.
Right. Right. Or in warm-ups taking a shot that goes over the bench boards and hits a teammate in the face. That
Wow.
Never
we've-
recovered.
bad-
Never recovered.
We've all done some bad things to each other, guys.
he's Bill is still suffering from post-concussion symptoms.
Yeah.
He's got to sit in the dark room
And
once
a
in a
little
while.
and a little PTSD from the drunk bartender that night.
Right. That was so much fun. That almost made it worth it. Almost.
Not for me.
It was. I mean, it was. We didn't know a lot about concussions at the time, so it was kind of comical, for the rest of us. But looking back on it, yeah, that wasn't funny. Speaking of the Flyers, the dogs were caught shitting at center ice, Jeff, with some police dogs. You see that?
Yes, there was a. I
Was
guess
it-
it was J.P. Comfer, right? Was out for his rehab skate after the morning skate, and they were showing, which is odd to me. I mean, I love dogs. Don't get me wrong, but they were, I guess, showing police dogs around the facility, which was, I don't know. I guess it was probably more for the police officers themselves, but they brought the dogs out on the center ice, and yeah, one dog just decided it was time to do his business.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
It's like taking a horse out there. You can't be surprised if it shits on the ice.
Yeah. And it was right on the logo.
Yeah, I know, right?
And I'm,
Right,
you know,
logo.
but can you imagine if that would have happened in the locker room? They would have had to burn the locker room down. Oh, you don't shit on the logo.
I thought you were going to say they were going
It's
to
a
have to
dog.
burn the dog alive.
I would never ever advocate for that, even in a joke.
I wonder if like what that would have happened if it was like a pregame ceremony. What would they have done?
Scoop it up.
Well, yeah,
They-
but
you know
I'm
what?
saying
You know what they would do?
the action would have been hilarious.
Oh yeah, it'd be funny. And you'd see him scoop it up, take it off, and you probably see the officials kind of scrape the ice with the skate and kind of create some
Oh,
slush and then scoop it up. Yeah, like they do with blood. Yeah.
Yep.
Same kind of
Yeah.
thing. Let's just thank God it wasn't running or like pudding. It's kind of solid.
Well,
That'd been bad.
after a moment on the ice, it's going to be solid anyway. So.
That'd been kind of funny to have that happen like in between periods, and then all of a sudden there's this brown spot on the ice the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And to wrap up the hockey tidbits, the Coyotes could be locked out of their arena since they owe Glendale for unpaid arena charges and delinquent tax bills. I saw this right before the show started, so I didn't get to read up on it. Did you actually read up on that article, Jeff?
Yeah, I read a little bit. So apparently they owe for back taxes and all that to the city of Glendale. They owe $250,000 that they have not paid. So,
Doesn't seem like a lot. I mean,
Right,
considering the
and-
payrolls and everything.
Well, Arizona's also been in talks of possibly trying to relocate this upcoming summer,
Right.
which
Yeah,
they have vehemently denied.
Sure.
But,
like
what are they
Kroenke.
gonna-
Like Kroenke.
yeah, what are they going to say?
Never
Oh, yeah,
believe
we're-
never believe an
moving.
owner.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They.
tells- they're looking at this saying, let's not pay them every cent because we're not going to be here next year anyway. And the city of Glendale's like, no, you're going to pay us up to the date of what you owe us.
Yeah, they put out a statement tonight saying that they have started an investigation into how this could have happened. You're the organization, you know how this happened, but they said it seems to be human error that somebody forgot to make the payments.
$250,000 does not seem like a lot of money.
The investigation is costing $250,000.
Right.
It does not seem like a lot of money considering what NHL, even what Arizona's payroll is low. But even considering that, at $250,000, I mean, they're paying Keller $7 million a year. You know what? I mean,
Right.
I heard they actually went to Dmitry Yashkin and said, "Hey, can you cover this for us?"
it doesn't make any sense to me. They should have a 50-50 raffle. Is what they should do at the games. They can get they can get
Hey,
500
fees.
They can probably get like $2,000 a game, right? If they do a 50-50. That'll cover a part of it. Man, Arizona's a mess. Just move already. I'm tired of it. Just move your team. Nobody.
I know some really awesome fans in Arizona, so that would be a shame. But yeah, they have been nothing but a mess for 20 years now.
I'm just tired of hearing about, they're not, they're a shitty team, and they're just, it's always, attendance problems and money problems, and they might move. Just move already. Come on, go somewhere that wants you. I mean, where you're going to be supported, or actually try, and maybe you'll try to win there. That's another thing too. Do you want a team that's not going to try to win?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm done with the Arizona saga. I mean, maybe there's a chance you can, if they can find a way back into the city and not way the hell out in Glendale, that it could work there. But I've heard something last week, I think, about Houston being a possible destination. So
It's going to be
that's probably be a lot easier to support a team in Houston. Still non-traditional market, but
I feel like the move to the Central Division was the NHL basically admitting it's going to be Houston, because that's the biggest untapped media market for the NHL in all of North America, and they're going after it.
The Coyotes have only had 1 year in their history that they've won a round in the playoffs. Is that right?
They won 2 rounds.
I know, in one season. That was 11-12.
When they went to the conference finals against the Blackhawks,
right,
and lost.
Every other season since 96-7, they've never won a playoff round. Just that 1 year. That's it.
Not surprising.
That's, I mean,
futility.
Yeah, it's 25 years.
They had some decent teams there in the late 90s with Kachuk and Roenick and all those guys, but they just couldn't get over the hump, and then they traded everybody in the early 2000s. So they had that 1 year, that one flash in the pan year in 11-12, and had a decent couple years after that. But since then, they've been garbage again.
And they're the division placement here. They're 8th. 5th, 4th, 8th, 6th, 4th, 7th, 4th, 1st, 2nd. So they had like 3 years where they were pretty good, but they didn't do anything. And then, except for go to the finals, the one year, conference finals. Then 4th, 5th, 4th. Oh my God! I mean, as a fan, how much you got to put up with? I mean, that's awful.
You can only ask your fans to put up with so much.
And Dave Tippett was the head coach for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons during that. And his first 3 seasons were their best 3 in franchise history. And then he hung around for 5 more years. Whew.
It's a bad franchise.
It is. I mean, I feel bad for the fans. And
that's how I always felt about the Thrashers. People used to shit on the Thrashers fans, like fans aren't showing up, and I'm like, they can't put a goddamn winner on the ice. Like if you can have a team that can actually go to the playoffs on a consistent basis, I guarantee you the fans will start showing up. But when you're putting out dog shit every fucking season, you're gonna have to relocate, because you can't expect your fans to put up with that shit for that long.
Dog shit, and we've come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and close it up. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com, and get 10% off by texting Dustin at 636-393-8745 and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericeBrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation in their tap room. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis. It's one of the best places to watch the Blues game. That's centericeBrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 13 of season 10 of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, Red Wings suck. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at sports.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues.